Hey, everybody. Well, I got a couple more pens this week finished, and these are those new
Well, against me,
groove.
I do this.
These are
Says
those new groove
I
pens
have
that
Yeah,
connected.
I
we can
showed
hear
off
you,
last
Lynn. I'm
week.
gonna, but I'm gonna mute you, Lynn.
Okay. So this was a Spectre Pi.
Found
I'm
out
not
the
sure I like this
headphones.
blank. I may turn the wood off of it and put another one on, but I finished that one, and then this has got a nice piece of cherry on it from Auburn Hills, Michigan.
Pretty.
Really?
It's pretty.
Yeah, yeah, it came out real nice.
So are
Again,
they,
these have that Schmidt click mechanism, which makes them wonderful to work with.
what
Hmm.
what kit are they? Is that the
It's
groove?
called the Groove Click
Yeah,
from Penn State.
got it.
Uh, they, they're really nice kits. They're basically a modified slimline. The difference is this is a twist to open it up and put the new refill in.
Oh, good.
And yeah, it goes together very simply. Um,
The band
so
let me know it was the groove.
yeah, the groove, the Groove Click. They're like $8 and something for the kit.
It's a very inexpensive click, so it makes it
Yeah,
nice,
yeah.
affordable. They
Well,
look
and
So
very
since
nice.
it uses that Schmidt refill, it's reliable, unlike so
it's not a
many of the
Schmidt
other
refill;
clicks.
it's a Schmidt click mechanism. So the
Oh,
click
I thought it was
mechanism is all
okay.
brass and spring. Yeah,
All
it's
right.
using a cross refill. So
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was a pencil. Sorry. I'll be all right tomorrow.
no, not a pencil. Like I said last week, I've not found a pencil mechanism that I like anymore.
Hey,
Uh,
Jeff, can you
I'm
show
still
the first one again? The
sure.
first pen?
Yep,
The Schmidt
there
pencil
it is.
mechanism is a great
Okay, I just want to
mechanism for
look at
pencil.
okay, that line right there. Okay, so you okay, that's a segmented piece of wood.
It's
Yeah, it's
Spectraply,
a
you said, right?
Spectraply.
Okay, see, I,
It's
I I I was
Spectraply.
over here doing I'm sorry. I just sat down and I saw that and that's yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
it's
notice this
pretty.
when I started, but the this didn't have as many lines in it. So as you can see, this one line's almost completely gone, but it left enough that I thought it was pretty interesting. But on the back, there's nothing.
Well, it's
So
got a
I
dark
think I'm probably
color.
just gonna. What's that?
The back's got like a brown in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
right
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure I like this. I may turn the wood off and just put a new piece on.
Yeah, leave it. Somebody will
Yeah,
like it.
And
that's
so
pretty. Yeah,
I
Jeff,
kind
I
of,
don't
I,
nothing
I
wrong
like,
with it.
I like your way of thinking on that, Jeff.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not in love with
I
it
wasn't
either,
paying.
to be honest.
Some of the Spectraply you get, the strips are very close together. They're finer
Right?
strips, so you get a much nicer effect.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
this
I've never
came from a
seen
bunch I got from
this
Pickett
How do you
Mall
get it?
about a year
Do
ago.
you do you get it in sheets or blocks of wood? How's it? How what is Spectraply? I mean, really?
Bunch of
Oh,
glued
okay,
up
I got
pieces
you.
together.
froze up.
Okay.
It's dyed veneered plywood, and it's all the veneers are a different shade, and
Glued
different
up.
colors.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
very
nice,
expensive.
yeah, especially on a diagonal cut.
I agree with Donna. If it don't sell, then change it.
Or you could do what
What?
Rebecca DeGroot does and bust up broken skateboards and glue them together.
Well,
Yeah, the only problem is finding them.
yeah,
Hey,
finding them is a trick.
I got a skateboard shop real near me, and I just rolled in there one day, and they had at least 15 of them they were willing to give me. So that's a lot of
Wow,
Wow.
blanks.
you're lucky.
So I have
Jeff,
3 shops by me, and none of them ever have any. They say throw them out as soon as they get them off the board. Yep.
My son broke more
Ma-
skateboards. I wish I had was turning back then. Ugh.
Make them a couple of pens and say, put those broken ones aside. I'll be by next week.
Yeah.
I tried to
know
get
how
them to
this
do that. I
works.
tried to work something out, but the owners don't want to do that.
All right, I understand.
Yeah.
What
you
do
know,
they
you
what
know
do they
the
do with their broken ones?
what?
Throw them out.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You could just raid their bin at night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dumpster
dumpster
dive.
diving.
But you know, was it Poisono is what makes the Spectraply?
No,
And
they're doing it in birch.
no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the company. Poisono. I think. Anyways,
Oh,
at the, I buy it from them. But at the end of, in fact, I just got the pen blanks, and there was like 20 pen blanks in a thing for $20.
Wow.
That ain't bad.
No,
that's
it's
why I've
not.
been getting it from. That's why I've been getting it from Pen Kit Mall. They had a package of like 20 for right around that, and they let me pick the colors because a lot of times you buy packages of Spectra ply, they throw in all the black ones.
Yeah.
I don't want pen blanks, though. I want big pieces.
Well, the thing is, I ordered pen blanks so that I could put 4 together and try some inside or out Christmas ornaments.
Oh,
Neat idea.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have Jim Duxbury talk me through turning it.
What'd I do?
You asked me about,
It's what you're
you
gonna
were
do.
hoping I wasn't turning. I said, I'll
Oh.
get the 4 Spectra plies and you can talk me through turning it.
You got it. You got it.
You just chuck it up and turn it. See, there's no big deal. Treat
Hey.
it just like wood.
No, we were teasing each other about my
There was,
eyes.
there was a,
Yeah.
there was a.
Oh, okay.
from
I see.
earlier.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right, very cool.
I used to have a
Right, that's
great
good.
guy he made gun stocks, and I got the drop offs for these gun stocks. Used to get it for nothing, but then he found out what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Thanks very much, there, Jeff. All right, let's go see what Charlie's got. Charlie,
Good evening.
we got you.
I made another little picture holder. This is the Jim Duxbury style. Got it at 45 degrees and
They did it again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Corner
a
very
to
nice.
corner,
yeah, you cut it corner to corner.
corner to corner. How about that?
Now, remember about 3 weeks ago, I showed you the most beautiful segmented bowl I'd made
yes.
Yeah.
in pieces?
Yeah.
It's not the same one. They couldn't find all the pieces. So I had to start from scratch.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Wow.
Wow. Busy.
14 and a half inches across, 6 inches tall. The bottom, and then there's 9 rings. The top ring is all red oak with white slices, wafers in between. The first ring off the bottom is all birch with, I can't remember, it's almost black. It was just laying around.
Bengay?
And it's coated on the inside with aluminite. Outside is tongue oil.
Looks great.
Nice.
Wow.
That is
Yeah.
a nice
Job.
popcorn bowl.
Yeah, dude, that's a big.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a fruit bowl. There,
It
you
looks-
can see it right there. It didn't turn out like the other one. This is part of the symbol of the Iroquois 4 winds. It's
Nice.
in 4 different places, but the color didn't. It just didn't stand out.
Huh.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Yeah, I never would have. I can see it being. Yeah, that's very cool. Iroquois, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The second row there, right? The second row are those spacers in there, or did you
Those
segment-
are I don't. The bottom one is black. I just
Okay.
put square spacers in there. I don't know what kind of wood it was. It was just something laying around.
I was just saying,
Nope.
either that or when they segment, how they make spaces. What's that called?
Open segmenting.
Open
Yeah.
segment. That's what I thought. I
And-
wasn't sure.
The top ring is red oak and it's got silver maple little wafers in it.
How long did it
Pretty.
take
Bowl.
to make it?
3 weeks.
Really?
It's beautiful.
Very nice. Very
Good job.
nice.
That's what
Very
you did
nice.
with your sciatica, then, right?
Yeah,
See,
well, that's all I had.
All
Nice.
right, thanks, Charlie.
Nice.
All right, let's see what Miss Brenda's got.
Oh, no. I gotta
Oh,
follow that.
yes.
Well, I finished my second cup. Which one did I finish? This one was already done. Do you see the tea?
Nice.
Yep. This is the other one. Where's the tea?
that's
There's
pretty.
the tea.
Nice.
These
Very
are for my
cool, Brenda.
grandson.
All right. So what does the
Or
T
grandsons.
stand for?
Trenton and Tucker.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Is there a liner in those, or did you finish inside with
Yep.
something?
Plastic cup
okay.
inside. And they glow in the dark. Yep.
That's
'Cause-
pretty.
I had to make them one because when I take mine to my daughters, Tucker is always grabbing my cup and taking off with it. So he's got one of his own now. So,
Very cool.
Pretty. Very pretty.
yep.
Knows what he likes.
Yeah. Ice water.
So,
Yep.
segmenting's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yes. I've got
Yeah, it
two
is.
more salad bowls I'm working on in the garage. One's Babinga and forget what it is. And the other one is Purple Heart and the same thing. Can't remember what it is. It's a light colored.
Maple.
It's birch.
Birch.
So, how
Yep.
many
Doing
rings did you? I'm sorry.
What's that?
Segments? You're doing
Yep.
doing segment? Okay, right on.
Yep. First
How many
one
rings do you
is-
turn before you turn it? How many rings do you glue together before you turn it?
I worked on the Babinga and birch today, and I had 2 rows on it. And I turned the inside.
Right.
And then
that's
added
what that's
another
my
row.
question. That's my question, right?
Yep. Yeah.
A lot
That way I'm
easier
not
turning the
going in so
inside as
far.
you're putting it together.
What's that?
I said it's a lot easier turning the inside as you're stacking it together.
Yes. Yes. And that's what I did with all these cups too. I did the same thing with that.
Well, you're getting your measurements pretty good to have those inserts slide in there pretty good. So you're understanding the dimensions of each piece now
Well,
for each row.
that jig I made, man, I'll tell you, that helped. That helped a lot.
What jig? What jig?
Yep. The measurement jig that what's his name? Michelle showed us?
Oh, Michelle. Yeah. Okay, you made that's right. Yeah. I remember. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember when you
I
showed
ain't made
yours.
Joe one yet either.
Still waiting. Still
No.
waiting.
I told you come get it. But the Babinga one is 12 segments and 7 rows. The Purple Heart one is 18 segments, cut at 10 degrees, and right now I've got 6 rows, I think. So we'll see how that goes.
Where are you getting your inserts, Brenda? For your
These
cups?
I got at
Michael?
nope,
Hobby Lobby?
Dollar General.
nope. The one that went out of business. Joanne Fabrics.
Oh,
Yep. These I got at Joanne Fabrics. These were, I think, $3.99 a piece. And the one I've got here, this one I got at Michael's.
Now,
No,
is
no, no.
is that a plastic insert or a stainless steel?
Yes, they're plastic.
so there actually are called inserts? What are you looking
It's just
for in the store?
I think it was just a plastic cup. It's got a lot.
Oh,
This one says
okay.
it's a Halloween glow in the dark tumbler.
Yeah, they're just plastic cups.
Okay, so it's nothing special, just a plastic cup with a lid.
Yep, just plastic
Okay.
cup with a lid, glows in the dark.
Yeah, all right, well, good.
Until you put a fancy wooden wrap around it.
Put a fancy
Right.
wooden
Then it becomes a very
Cup around it.
special cup.
exactly.
An
And then
insulated
and I
cup.
even lasered it. Did you see the bottom? This
No.
one, I'll check this one out.
Your grandkids gonna love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, This is the one that broke on me 3 different times, right? I put a new bottom on it and it broke again, right?
Yeah.
I told my grandson about it and I was asking him which one he wanted. He said, I want that broken one. He said, because it reminds me of when I had stitches.
There you go.
Stitches when he was little. So,
He was broken too. Okay.
Yep. So I left
Hug
that
'em.
like that.
Just go and
So-
hug him for that. That's all. Just hug him.
Yep. So that's all I got, guys.
Very good, Brenda.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
All right, let's go see what Mr. Owl's got.
So wake up, Sheila.
Yeah, wake up, Al.
Well, she said in the chat earlier to keep her awake. I have
Thanks,
a
Al.
little I have a little angel box.
That's cool.
That's nice. I
Very
like that.
nice.
Nice. Good
I think
touch.
it's just blue. I think it's just pine. If you could see, well, you probably can't see how it's like a blue in here. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if you can see it or not.
Yeah, we can see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
It's very
like I said,
nice.
I've been playing around with this piece here, and I just mixed the glue and then the water, and I doused the hell out of the bottom of it. But I've got a little bit of time in this, and I was hollowing it out. I made 8 points. This is another challenge from Dave Robinson. He was on here a few weeks ago. It was another challenge, and he had a pedestal. I decided to make little spider legs instead, and it was supposed to be 8 points. So I have my 8 points, and like I said, I was doing the hollowing part. I have it drilled down to about here. And I was doing it, and it cracked again completely off. So I'm gonna do with a tenant now for sure. And this is right now, it's pretty sticky, but I'm playing around with it, and
that'll work.
Yeah, somebody here helped me figure it out last night. Dane.
You guys are great, aren't they?
Hey, love this place. Love this club.
Yeah, it's a great group. Great group.
Yep.
Certainly is. Wake up, Sheila. Everybody have a good night.
You too.
All right, thank you, Al.
All right, everybody be good.
All right, let's go over to Missouri. Let's see what Mr. Roger did. Hey, Raj.
All righty. This is something I tried today.
Cool.
I've never turned one quite like this. Still not done. It's still got the tenon on it. But one side cracked. And actually, it's come back together from the way it was. It was almost probably twice the crack there, was not twice as wide. So I've been working with walnut this week.
Oh,
Funny looking
that's pretty.
segmented bowl.
Beautiful.
wow.
That's only one segment.
Yeah.
This is the
That-
floor out of this bowl.
Oh my goodness.
Cool.
Nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
No segmenting this week at all?
What's that?
No segmenting this week at all?
No segmented this week.
Wow.
Okay, then.
Oh my goodness.
Those are
This one.
gorgeous.
Those are
I
beautiful.
love the flame in that one.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
gorgeous.
look at
Flame
that.
that
Nice,
gorgeous.
Raj.
Fantastic.
Dang.
Yeah.
What's the finish?
That walnut.
What's that?
What's that
What's
finish?
your finish?
This is that Rust-Oleum 2X.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I think I got it on too thick because I don't know. Does this stuff buff?
Heel.
It will buff, yes.
It'll
buff?
sand also.
But yeah, but I don't buff with a buffing system. I buff mine with an abrasive paste like Axe or whatever that other one
Okay.
is. But that's all I buff with. I don't buff with a buffing system anymore. I got tired of burning off my finishes.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's nice.
That's another pretty one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Dang.
If I can
Getting
do
busy.
Zaga justice.
That is a nice
My
popcorn
wife
bowl
said
right
she
there.
wanted a big bowl for a friend for Christmas. So I made it. She sent her a picture. She said, that's too big. So she wants this one.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
So that's what I've been working on this week.
That Roger,
Very nice, Raj.
Roger, the one with the flame in it, was that a crotch piece?
Yes.
I thought it must be.
Beautiful.
Roger, I watched your demo from last week. That
Yeah?
was impressive.
You gonna try it?
Well, I don't know. It looks a little above
Chicken.
me. Above my, yeah. I don't know. I'm still working on mastering the segments.
Brenda thinks it's above her pay grade.
Yes, it's above my brain grade.
I want to see somebody try it.
Well,
Somebody
Only has
will.
pretty darn cool.
I'm
I
afraid
only had 3 people ask for the directions, so.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I've suffered too much brain rot.
I'm tempted. It's a little cold in my shop right now.
Not in mine. I told everybody I'm retired for the winter. I'm doing nothing but wood turning now. For the winter.
Nothing wrong with that.
No more projects. Wood turning for the winter.
All right. You good, Roger?
I'm done. That's my 5 pieces.
Very nice.
Down.
Very
It
nice.
looks very nice, Roger.
Wow.
So next up, we've got Patrick. What you got, Patrick?
A couple months ago, I turned a little Osage orange lighthouse, and when I drilled the holes for the top part of it, I didn't get them lined up too good, and I didn't like the way it looked, so I just said I got to figure out some way to fix that, and I cut the top off of it and turned a little tenon and took one of those little lantern Christmas ornaments.
There you go.
And
Wow.
sort of set
There
on
you
top
go.
of it.
Oh, that's perfect.
That'll work.
Nice.
Nice.
Perfect. Yes.
There you go.
I like the way you did the bottom. You carved the
Yeah,
bottom?
it's a good stone wall. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I-
carved with
the-
micro mold.
Nice.
Oh,
That is nice.
That is pretty, yeah.
Great
dang.
job, Patrick.
That's my save
save.
for the week.
Right?
Good job. Nice night. Ain't nothing wrong with a good steak.
Corner.
When I finished that, I had another piece of walnut laying around. I said, I'm gonna turn a little shallow bowl out of it.
Oh my.
That's pretty.
Look at that thing.
That's another nice flame project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
I
your
think
shape.
those two walnuts, the two nuts touched each other for that flame to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love
Beautiful.
all that spiraling on
That
the
is
bottom.
crazy.
I like the way
Really
you
pretty.
spot it, too. Looks great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Definitely ain't making Kentucky ebony from that.
You move.
Yeah.
Come on, girls.
Just got abrasive paste and wax finish.
How big is that?
Good. Looks fantastic.
It's a little over 15 inches.
Yeah, it's a nice size piece. Really pretty.
I did a little embellishing on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
it-
because you can, right?
Yeah, just because you can. No need,
I love
no
that you
need
do
to
that.
waste
I
the
think it's-
canvas.
Right. I think it's
Right.
a great touch. I like it a lot.
Yes, really.
I do too. It's a pretty piece.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
That's it for
But
me this
you
week.
can stand that up on its side also. It could be, you know, like a wall art in a way too, or put it on a stand on a shelf.
You could.
Yeah, it would look
Yeah,
good sitting
absolutely.
on a
That's
little
pretty.
stand, setting up like that.
Yeah.
Sure is pretty.
Yeah, it is.
Very nice.
That is a pretty piece.
Thank you. That's it
All
for
right. Well,
me.
thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Next up is Donna. What you got, Donna?
Hey, Donna.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I've been back in my shop working on threading again, doing little boxes. On like a little, this is a U-wood.
Beautiful.
And one of the things that I learned recently with the threading is how loose to make them so that they don't get sticky and that they'll continue to turn beautifully. And one of the things I learned is, so you see this one I'm doing here, like after it's loose, right? I don't know if you can hear that.
Yes.
So I'm
Yeah,
shaking it
yeah.
back and forth ever so slightly. That's the sweet spot. That's what you want until just at the very end where it tightens and there's no movement. That thing will never get sticky and not be able to turn. So I figured that out finally. It took me a while. And then this one, about that pen issue. So I made one of these and I got a catch and all I had left was this tiny little bit I made. It was even smaller than this one. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to keep it. It's stupid. I'm just going to finish it. People prefer that to nice little things like, so this was the sort of the way I was making them before. People like this silly one. So, I mean, I was going to chuck it and then I just finished it. No, I'll just finish it. So I finished it. And then I gave somebody an option the other day. I traded for some more U-wood. And they wanted this goofy little one that I thought was garbage. So I'm making more like that.
It's not goofy at all.
It's all in the eye of the customer. I love it. I think it's great.
Did you chase the threads? Did you chase the threads yourself by hand?
Pardon?
Did you
Yes,
chase
these
the
are
threads
hand
by hand?
chased.
By hand? Yes.
Yeah, these are with just the little thread chasers, Robert Sorby ones, 16s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now if you can see the
Yes.
Yeah.
the
Yes.
threads
No,
there,
you
but
did a nice job.
pretty nice and sharp.
Nice job.
And
Beautiful.
Thank you. And the other thing I learned was someone had said I was doing them because someone said don't turn them under 300. You get drunken threads. And so I was doing 350, just trying to keep up, right? Making so many mistakes. Well, someone said do them at 200. So these are all done at 200, and it is so much easier. So anybody who's trying to learn to do threads, don't go so fast. Slow it down. It's fine. And I don't know, I've been hunting a bunch, so I missed a couple meetings, but did I show you guys this thing?
You can show it again if
So
you did before. I
this
love
is-
it. Looks great.
That's great.
Okay, well, this is a candle, and inside
Yes.
candlestick, we've got a thing for the matches. So there's
There we
matches in
go.
here.
Put
Matches.
a little torch in
So
there.
that you don't have a flammable thing inside, right? And because always we have the storms here, and I just thought, this would be, you can never find matches. It's in the dark. You're trying to find the candle, but you can't find the matches. So
You did a nice job with the chaser.
and then I've got the striker underneath there.
Right. Yeah. Nice looking.
But if anybody ever wants to, sorry guys. I missed
Everybody was
what
just
someone
saying how nice it is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And if
Brenda's-
anybody wants any support thread chasing, like if you get a hold of me through Instagram or whatever, or phone number, whatever, I'm happy to help anybody, if they want to give it a try and want some pointers or,
Heck yeah.
Well, I want to do it, but that means I'll have to start an Instagram account then, eh?
The most, I find, Donna, the most difficult part is making the two woods good enough in size. That's the hard part. I mean, you can get a rhythm and, maybe 30, 40 pieces,
Yeah.
you'll really get it. But making the size is my problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting them, and also you see guys that are, once they've turned it, so if you can see here, this is even all the way around.
Right.
And that's where the thing is. A lot of guys, you'll see it. There's a space on one side and it's tight on the other, and it's because they didn't hold those thread chasers perfectly straight, perfectly flat on the one side, and otherwise, you know, they don't quite match, and then the
Right.
seam doesn't match. You'd have to try to hide it. But yeah,
Is there a trick? Is there a trick to that?
I think there is, Matt. You take
hold it
you
flat and
take
plumb.
you take yeah you take another thread off, and or you take some off of, I think, the male part, I think, and then you work your way to make it matches.
If you want the thing to line up, you do that to make it line up on the lines. So
I
like
believe
this one here.
I was watching Terry Bray, and that he was explaining that, I believe.
Yeah, if you want the top piece of wood to match the bottom piece, then you do need to do that. So like this one here, you can see those two lines line up when it's tight.
Oh yeah.
And that's what you do for that. But if you don't have the lines parallel to each other straight, when you do tighten it, the lid will be slightly this way, but ever so slight, rather than it being this way. It's flat on. And you can see that with some people threading, where one side there's a space and the other side it's tight. So that's something. But when you're getting the two to match, I try to get the second piece just slightly bigger, and I kind of check it when I put them together. So if it was this one, I'd have this one just slightly bigger, and so that it almost fits in, but not quite, just in the very tip, and then work them in. But sometimes I have to do them more than once because they're still big, if that makes sense. I think that might answer the question, but it is a tricky thing to do to get them to fit. And if they don't fit, you got to do another, either top or bottom, and the pieces are going to be different.
Cool.
Wow.
Thanks, Donna. That's
I'm seeing
really
ways
neat.
to fail at threading.
Yeah, Donna, could you take a kind of add a channel beyond the thread so that you can kind of adjust how far you turn it if it's not tight? I'm not sure. I'm not describing that well.
If it's too tight, like if it's
No, in order to grain match the two pieces,
oh yeah,
you could add a little bit of, excuse me, a little bit of a parting groove where there's no thread to make the one piece turn further onto the other piece.
Right.
Yeah, you can always, if they don't quite match, then you've got to take more off. Sometimes you can do it here, because sometimes I've had it where it's almost perfect, and then I sanded the outside, and I took this part in just a slight bit from sanding, and now it overturns it past where I wanted it to be. So then you got to take more off this edge so that it'll do a full revolution and match back up again.
Cool.
So you have to have that extra bit of wood there to do it. You can also do it on the top by, if you're doing it from this, if this is your last one you're turning, then you can take more off that edge under here, but not this part. It's actually the edge in here where they're going to touch. But
Sounds like
can
we
also
need a
do it
demo,
on
Dane.
this edge. Yeah,
Sounds like a big
I don't
headache for
have
me.
any. Yeah, I don't have any service in my shop, so I'm not sure how. I guess I could try to do something that.
Record it with your phone.
You know, I'm still learning too, but I could maybe record it and then try to do something. I'm pretty terrible with tech stuff. A bit of a tech idiot. But.
Oh, you're all good,
Oh,
brother.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Donna,
I'm sure we'd love to see it, Donna. I'm fascinated. It's
Yes.
something I haven't never done, and I want to. So
It feels so good when it works, and it's really
Yes.
if there's 100 ways to fail, I figured them all out.
Donna, do you use the Carter and Son thread chasers or the traditional chasers?
I have the ones from Robert Sorby.
Okay.
I didn't know there was other ones at the time. I just had got those from ordered them in. So
right.
And they're good. I've seen there's some in the States that are made that are really nice, and I can't remember the name of them that I'd like to try and pick up.
Yeah. It's got the center ball.
I think so. Yeah, you just turn it. One is one side, the other's on the other. Because the ones I have are two separate tools.
Right. Yeah, they're a breeze. They're very intuitive.
Nice. I should probably get a pair just so I can practice on them too and show people who are actually trying with those.
Do it again, Dane.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, this is the 16 TPI.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen. Yes.
And then they have a 12. So
they look really well made.
So here's for the male, making the male thread.
Yeah.
And then here's the side for making the female
thread.
No, what brand is that one?
Carter and Sons.
Yeah, okay, that's what I have here in my hand. I was going to show you. Yeah.
And it's because you're able to directly work right off the tool rest as I found it cumbersome with the two set with the two tools by Sorby. I could never make a proper thread. And then when Carter and Son came out with this style, I bought it and I was going at it and making threaded boxes and trick boxes. They're a lot of fun, especially when you got the reverse thread and then you give it to somebody and they're like, all right, turn it the other direction, pops off. Oh, there's another box. I learned that from Mick over in England, from the Zoom meeting, I don't know, 5 years ago when he was making his boxes and making the trick boxes in and out with the left hand, right hand threads. So yeah. What you can do is record up a series of many videos, and we can play them. We'll do a screen share, and then we can play them. During the meeting. Do up two or three of them. Start how you prep the tenon, how for the male thread, how you prep the blank for the female. Showing how to start the thread. Finish, cut the groove. And the reason why you got to have that groove at the end, because the tool's the thread chaser's got to have a space to exit the tenon, and just go from there, So, and look, Patrick's got it too, and he's been frustrated.
Patrick, if you take about a month,
level up, I'll show how to use the. I can show how to use the Carter and Son level up. So,
but Patrick, it'll take about a month. You'll figure it out. Hide yourself in your shop and don't come out. And when you come out in 30 days, you'll know how to thread.
I spent 2 hours with it and got so frustrated with it, I put it on the shelf, and that's where it's been ever since.
Well, at least you didn't throw it across the shop.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do that. No. So
yeah, you could send it to me, Patrick. I'm willing to wade in.
It takes practice. It just takes practice. That's all.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you, Donna.
Take some practice.
That's all. It's very great. Very satisfying when you get it working.
Is it ever?
Yeah. Great discussion.
Yeah.
Those
Thanks,
are beautiful
guys.
pieces, Donna.
Thanks.
I think my problem is I don't have the right kind of wood for threading.
You got that, Osage?
There you go.
Cherry will take a thread too. I've had mesquite take a thread. You don't want to be doing end grain wood. End grain doesn't hold a thread very well. Or at least I've found
Except
that
for
end
you
grain
would.
does not hold.
Like
Yeah,
this is you would, and this is end grain. This is end grain.
Yeah, but
and
you
it
use
works
it.
quite
Use a
well.
different beast. Use a different beast. It's like boxwood. It'll take a
Boxwood's
thread
amazing.
grain as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I think we need a thread chasing class at Level Up. Somebody step up for it.
well, we actually we have an anchor session doing thread chasing.
There you go.
Sign me up.
All right. Well, thank you, you guys. Great discussion. Next up is Leonard. What you got, Leonard?
So a while ago, I had bought one of those boxes of 12 by 12 by 16 boxes of wood from Home Depot. I had some dollars I needed to use up, so I had bought some. Had no idea what I was going to make with it, but a couple weeks ago, I turned my first pen. So
That's pretty.
Hold it
Came out-
sideways.
very nice.
Hold it horizontal.
came out pretty nice.
Is that walnut?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Nice one.
And then,
Yeah.
so I was working up in Maine. So I went to Rockler, bought one of the kits, the starter kits. And then I bought some off of Amazon. I just bought some letter openers so I can match them. This is the
Nice.
first one. Personally, I followed the instructions, but I don't know if it shows up real well. There is an edge right here and right here. It
Yeah.
works fine. It feels okay because it's not a sharp edge. But they look nice. They work well. Today I went in and decided I'm going to make another one. Now this one's
Ooh.
maple.
Pretty.
And I turned this one. I use, my own caliper type to measure this. So this is pretty close to even.
There you go.
I
There you
sanded
go.
just a little too far, so there's a slight edge, and then turned a pen to match that.
There.
That's nice.
They're
So-
curling in that maple?
Yes, there is.
That's what I thought. Yes.
So,
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
That's great.
Beautiful.
so that's my first and second pen and letter opener. But the box of wood, I get probably about, I don't know, 250 blanks out of it. So,
Great.
but it's all like 4 different, there's oak, maple, walnut, alder, and one other. I don't remember what it was. So I get a lot out of it. And then I have some other types of wood coming as well. So I can try few different things. But
Sounds like you fell
Fine
down
pen
the hole.
turning is one heck of a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
You
Yes,
fell
it
down
is.
the hole. You know
that's where I'm falling right now.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're gonna have a
Very
blast.
cool. Very cool.
You're
Nice
gonna
work,
have a
you.
Yeah.
blast.
Leonard. Thank you.
Leonard, if you want to do this, to match the fittings to the wood,
Yeah.
go out and buy the cheapest electronic caliper you can find. Take the
Okay.
caliper, put it on the fitting, press the 0 button on the caliper,
Okay.
and now you have a 0 point to shoot for.
Yeah.
And so if
I
you put
used-
it on the wood, it says 50 thousandths. That means you need to come down by 50 thousand.
Yeah. So I get this one pretty close. But when I sanded it, I think I just over sanded it a little bit. So
That's easy enough to do.
That's
I
great.
found that
Randy.
out.
Yeah.
So
That's great,
Good
Randy. It sounds
advice.
so
Good
easy.
advice. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. Next up is Bob. What you got, Bob?
All right, how about that? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, I got a couple of Christmas trees here. Let me
Oh, my.
clean
Wow.
the screen up a little bit. But I got some rings from Amazon, and I thought, well, I might as well try to use them somewhere and put them on a Christmas tree. So I thought
Oh.
they turned out pretty good.
Huh.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
just,
Cool.
just brass rings. You just make it the
Yeah.
different sizes and sits
I'll
down
be
on.
done.
I was going to ask you if
That's
they
cool.
were painted on or if they were rings that you included. I saw that earlier today and it's beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, see, these are all just separate
Wow.
rings that you start turning it, and you do the largest one first. So you turn the whole thing around just so the larger one will fit down over it, down to this one.
Right.
And then you make the whole thing this size, so this ring will slide on. And then the next one, the next one, the next one. But you just have to go progressive. You can't sit here and make a Christmas tree because you might miss it.
Right.
You know, you might miss the angle. But
That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
that-
Very
that-
nice.
That's very nice. Very nice.
Did you do some carving on that too? Or is that just the
no,
wood
that
grain I'm
deal at the
seeing?
top is, you make a little cross with, it looks like a disc, and then you come back and sand it flat on the side.
Yeah, I'm looking at that on Facebook right now.
But anyway, it turned out good, and then it painted it with, it's black lacquer, and then I used that liming wax to make the grain pop out of here. I don't know if we.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing is
Any
the,
better
I thought it
or not.
looked like it was
Pretty
carved
cool.
or something, but it's the wood grain.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's pretty
So
cool.
that turned out all right. I think I'm gonna try a red and a green one because my wife didn't like a black Christmas tree. So maybe she didn't like the black cross. I don't know.
Can't you still add the colors to that just because it's black? I mean, you could dab it here, dab it there, and
Oh yeah,
Dry brush. You
Some
could dry
lights,
brush green
some
over
lights.
top of it or whatever.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
There's a lot of
I'm
things
just
you
gonna
can
make
do with
some
that.
more. And then the other one I made, I saw this on Facebook somewhere. It might have even been on our webpage, but it's just a Christmas tree, and again with red and green accent on them.
You painted those on?
Yeah, these were painted. It's the little Sharpies.
Yeah,
That was red and green
lower it
Sharpie.
a second.
Wow.
Lower it a second. Okay, no. I mean, lower it. The top,
Lower
the
it.
top tier. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it just looks really pretty.
Bob, what kind of wood did you use on that?
These are elm. Both of them were elm.
Cool. I
Elm-
like
elms are
the
real
job,
pretty.
Bob.
Have a lot of grain in it. A lot of pretty colors.
yeah. Grain on elm is really nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you get the rings on the Amazon?
I got the rings on. Yeah, the brass rings were on Amazon. They were like 6 different sizes in a set for, I don't know, 10 of them for $10. And I thought, well, that's cheap enough. So
Cool.
that
Yeah,
was
it's pretty.
pretty cheap.
Very nice, Bob.
All right. I think that's it. Hey, one other question though. I put wax on there to make the gold wax, and I'm not real crazy about it. Can I put gold leaf directly over the top of that or not? Or do I have to try to take that wax off?
Well, the thing with leaf is
adhesive.
There's an adhesive underneath it. Okay,
Right.
so the wax might not accept the adhesive, so you might have to take the wax off.
Sure. Okay. I mean, it's not like it's waxy. It doesn't come off. I think once it's there, it dries. But I got
I
something
just
from
take your
Hobby
pocket
Lobby.
knife and just take your pocket knife and scrape the majority of it off, and then put the size on there. A couple coats of size in.
Yep. They also make a small
The nitrogen
a gold. They also make a gold leaf paint. It's really useful too. It's like really bright and shiny and so on. It's not gold
that
leaf,
might
but
be. I wouldn't mind doing the paint stuff. I
Yeah.
might look for that. Do you think that's at Hobby Lobby too?
I
Yeah,
think
they'd
it
have
might
it.
be. I don't know, but it's on Amazon. I mean, I have some somewhere.
Oh,
I
okay,
got
but
some.
it's
I got
all
some
gold
at
leaf paint.
Walmart. At
Yeah, it
Walmart.
might be at Walmart. Yeah, a metallic gold works pretty good too.
Yeah. Well, that's what this was. It was like a metallic gold paint. I don't know what I put it up somewhere else, but But I mean, it wasn't a paint; it was a wax, like rubbing wax, or what do you call that? Rubbing buff.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't the same
Yeah, that's
thing, but
a
it's
different
kind of
animal.
like that, I guess.
So, hey, Bob. Now, if you do go and gold leaf that, now I've watched videos of it, and you could gold leaf something that small to get into under those corners and into the corners.
Sure,
Yeah, really?
Yes.
I think you can. I haven't tried it, but I think you can. Yeah.
I'd like to try that one time.
Kind of.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
I
Looking
might
at
have
the,
to
the gold stuff
try it.
that I use.
Let me tell something to myself here really quick. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
It's called liquid leaf.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
You don't
Sorry,
remember where
it's
you
just
bought it.
just a little bit of paint. Anyway,
Or did you get that on Amazon?
I think I got it at Joanne Fabrics, frankly, but
Okay.
you know, it might this is like Renaissance Gold. They've got a couple of different colors,
Sure.
but you know, I'd look on Amazon. That's where I'd look. Everything's on Amazon.
Yeah, I know everything's out there. I'll have to look for liquid leaf gold. Okay. Sure.
I'm
All right.
putting
Well,
in
thank
what
you.
I use.
Yeah, it's Hobby Lobby's listing it on their site, Bob.
Okay.
And
I'll have to go back there and look.
and-
I didn't look for a paint, I guess, and that going to be in the paint area, or you think it's by the gold leaf?
On the Hobby Lobby site, it calls it liquid leaf paint.
Liquid leaf paint. Okay. All right. Well, I'll
Yeah.
look for it.
And it's
And I'm looking
cheapest
right
on
now. Amazon has all kinds of it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and it looks cheapest on the Hobby Lobby site, but I can't see prices on Amazon yet here.
Okay. All right.
This
Sounds
is
great.
what I just put it in the chat, but this is what I use, Bob.
Now, who's it? Okay, you put that in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's essentially a metallic gold pearlescent
Yeah,
paint. Yep, and that's a real good paint. I have that. I really like that too.
That's a paint too, right?
It's an acrylic liquid. Yep.
Okay. I'll have to look for that. I don't like the color of this. It's not bright enough. You know, it's not if you get the light
And
of it
then
right, it's bright, but
Something else
otherwise
with these, on any of these acrylic paints, take the top off and drop in 2-3 BBs.
yeah. So you can shake it.
You know, to shake it up. That way you get all the mixture off the tint off the bottom.
Right.
There's also a Liquitex acrylic ink. It's a calligraphy ink that I've used a number of times. Takes 3 or 4 coats, but it comes out really nice.
Yeah. Really pretty and bright.
Yeah. I've got this at I believe it was Michael's. It's either Michael's or Hobby Lobby.
Okay.
One of the two.
On
Yeah,
that
now that I
acrylic,
think about it, it was Michael's where I got that at.
on that
Thanks for
acrylic ink, if
reminding me on that.
you wipe it off quickly after you apply it, it'll kind of give you a gold sheen, kind of like if
Right.
you're putting unicorn spit on and wiping it off, give you that same texture. But it's
Gives you
cheap.
that effect. It gives you that effect when you drop a gallon of paint on your garage floor and you're trying to wipe it up. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just like that. Just like that. I'll tell you.
This is that gold leaf paint. It's on this piece here. I don't know if y'all can see that,
The
but
piece is
it's pretty
thin.
shiny. It's pretty shiny.
Okay.
Well, so is the piece.
Great. Thanks.
I'll tell you, when Joanne Fabrics went out of business, that hurt me. I was able to get a lot of nice
Yeah.
little things from there.
Yeah, the selection at Hobby Lobby is not quite as good. I'm with you,
Right,
Al.
not at all. Not at all. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I went there and it was closed. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. But
Sorry, man, I went out of business.
Hobby Lobby puts them on sale every other week, you know?
Yeah. You can order it from Hobby Lobby.
Right.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thanks, Bob. Great discussion.
Thank you.
Next
All right,
up
cool.
is okay. Go
Let's
ahead.
do
Bob.
one.
I'm sorry.
Let's do one more gallery and then we'll do we'll move on over to safety.
Okay. Next up is Victor then.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm just going to show one snowman I did after the last time, just because of the spalting on it, and then I'm going to show a couple other things.
Ooh, that's
Wow.
pretty.
I mean, it came out perfect to frame
Pretty
the
wood.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty wood.
Wow.
And then I've been turning a few trees and ornaments. So here's the locust tree. I've got black locust and honey locust, and I still get them confused a little bit. But I've got about 4 different shades of locust trees here.
Well, honey locust looks like honey. That's how I remember the difference.
Yeah,
It's
this one's
golden.
lighter, and here's a darker one. Even though it looks lighter in the light here, the light's washing it out a little bit, I think.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, if you put them side by side, you can see the difference.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I like the shape on the one with your left hand. I like that.
Yeah. And here's the itty bitty black walnut one
Nice.
for someone that wants something small. And I've got a few ornaments been working on.
Oh,
I haven't
nice.
decided if I'm going to put a face on this one or not. It's cherry. And we've got ash.
Oh, he's pretty.
Very nice.
Here's an ambrosia maple.
Very
Ooh, I
nice.
like that one too.
Yeah.
And with no face at all, here's the black walnut.
Ooh, I like
Yeah,
the
if you
shape on
decide
that
to put
too.
a face on that, use white.
Yeah.
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 And I had one piece of ash that was decided to crack on me, so I couldn't make a tail on him, so I just made a little snowman.
Sure.
Looks
Kitty.
good.
And one
Very
last
good
tree, I've got
nature.
I did just today I did this tree out of a cherry branch. So it's bigger than the other ones.
Oh, nice.
But I left the bark on the bottom, and there's just a little bit here and very, very small hint of it there.
Nice.
Great.
So
Nice job.
they're all undercut, kind of similar to how I do my mushrooms. So
Sure.
Very nice.
but yeah, I've been doing the trees for 3 years now, and every year the design's a little bit different.
Have to change
And
them
I
up.
kind of get stuck in that design, and everything kind of looks semi-similar. Except though, here's one that doesn't have a finial top. It has a regular
What's
pointed
the green
top.
in that?
Beautiful.
Yeah, this I've got a bunch of honey locust, but most of it's still not ready to process. So,
Mm.
so that's pretty much what I got here. Just wanted to
Great.
get a
Thanks,
little bit in
Victor.
there. Yep.
Well done.
Thanks.
Safety. Sue,
Hey there, guys.
what do you got for us tonight?
Are you all safe today?
Yes.
All right, we're
More
all gonna be
fingers.
doing a bunch of stuff for Christmas, or for those of you that sell the stuff for selling. So we need to make sure that you stay safe for the holiday season so you can enjoy your family. Standing at the lathe and turning, that's the biggest place where we want to be safe. And on that note, I want to make sure that everything is secure while you're turning. You know, a lot of times the tailstock becomes loose, and we want to turn it tight so that the piece stays without jiggling. But folks, don't turn it too tight because you could mess your bearings on your lathe. And if that happens, you don't have a lathe and you can't finish the project. But in the meantime, a lot of people, and I've done it too, so that's 20 lashes for me, is tighten the tailstock off the lathe is turning. We've all done it. But technically you should turn off your lathe and tighten it that way and make sure that everything is secure. Also, for your chuck, make sure that it's secure with your chuck as well. You know, tighten those gears. Finishing safety. make sure that you remove the tool rest before you sand, folks. You don't want your hand to get in there and break something. Be careful with cloth finishing. If you're going to use a cloth, make them little tiny 1 by 1 inch squares or 2 by 2 inch squares. You don't want a long rag that could get caught in your lathe and bring your hand into it. That's why most of us use paper towels.
So we can't use our old ties?
Only if you cut them in little tiny pieces. Besides, you don't want that rough tie to, but you could use your old underwear if you want, but cut it up. If you're going to use a cloth, try to turn your lathe off. Don't do it while you're spinning unless you have little tiny pieces. Use a paper towel. That way, if it catches in the lathe, it'll break off. And I'm not sure what Brenda just wrote, but Billy and Brenda wrote stuff. Go ahead and read it because that's in addition to my safety talk. Anyways, be safe. Don't let your hands get in there. If you're finishing with paint, protect your lathe. Make sure you have a respirator on and spray whatever you're going to spray on there. So be careful, guys. We want to protect your face, your hands, your lungs, and your lathe, and have a wonderful time turning ornaments. So anyways, Matt, you said he learned the hard way. I have to read that after I get off here. So guys, be safe this week, and I'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Sue.
Brenda wrote that she wiped her tool off with her hand and cut herself when doing it. So I learned that the hard way myself yet again.
You and me both.
A few weeks ago. So yeah.
Anyways, you're welcome, everybody. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Sue. All right. So with that brings us to just a little after the top of the hour. So that means 75 of you guys are still hanging on here to watch a demo. So we have Mr. Kirk Cap in this evening for our demonstration. And there he is. So Kirk's going to be inviting us into his shop.
Hi.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, wow.
Is that dot painting?
I don't know. So I will
yes,
be
that's dot painting.
Everybody. And unless Kirk wants to solicit questions and participation from the group here, I will mute everybody. Otherwise, just put your questions into the chat, and then at opportune times I will ask them, or Kurt will see them on his computer screen and answer them for you. So I'm going to mute everybody now. Kurt, you'll need to unmute yourself. Oh, he may be away from his.
There you go. We're good?
Nope, there he is. Yeah, we got you, Kurt.
Okay. I figured I'd do my show and tell now. A bit easier.
Oh, okay.
This is my wife's creation up here. This is the dot painting. But
Nice.
believe it or not, any of us idiots can do it because she started teaching some classes and I was the guinea pig on, not this one, but on another piece to actually do the dot painting. It was actually very simple. And it also is the iridescent paint below. This is the one, the
Very
last time I
nice.
did a demo, I think I showed this one. It was still in a half. This was a bowl that failed. The other half had cracks in it. So stuck it fast to a piece of 1/4 inch plywood, painted it up, and we'll see this weekend whether anybody else likes it. Put it that way.
There you go. Yeah, good luck. Sure somebody will.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Tonight, what we're going to do, I saw a demonstration a little while back on one of these, and I thought they were kind of interesting. This will be a bowl, a small, shallow bowl with a lid and a knob. The knob I found to do is a little bit different, so that's where we're going. It is a piece of curly maple for the lid. It will get finished natural. This is Sapele. It's about 6 inches in diameter. It's a pretty simple project. Some parts of it you can make more complicated if you want. I'm being kind of lazy. I just drilled a 2-inch, actually 2 1/8 inch hole for a simple recess. Makes it quick and easy. Could use a worm screw or even between centers or whatever you like to do as far as that goes. Start out with the tailstock up just because we can. Face shield on, of course. Bring our tailstock up relatively close. Spin by hand. Traditional swept back grind bowl gouge. Start out slow. This piece will probably let me spin at whatever speed I want to right off the bat because it is small. So we'll clean it up. Clean up the outside edge. Should probably only take one cut because I actually did a half decent job on the bandsaw. This is the bottom, so it doesn't matter if I run off the end a little bit. It shouldn't break it out. The other thing we need to know is where the top's going to be. Just lower wing touching. Slide back and forth a couple times. Touch the edge, get rid of the razor blade. That's pretty much it for the outside. Now we don't need the tailstock anymore. Left the mark good. So now we come around and establish our tenon. Switch over to that direction. Make a little bit more sense. The light's giving it a little bit of a shadow, but that's
fine.
It's a little bit different, but that's okay.
Yeah, it comes through nicely.
So just a little bit of a draw cut just to flatten this bottom out. Get rid of that little sharp edge there. Tenon. We'll go with the bigger size jaws because this inevitably can be my foot when we're done, which is the general idea for me. How I do it, put it that way. So we get rid of the corner. Not all the corner. Well, I should have put a mark up there where I want. So I'm going to come down about 3/4 of an inch on the top. That's where my curve is going to go. And then I'm going to do a reverse curve the other direction. Just gives it sort of a pottery look. And that's the demonstrator that was doing it. That's what he likes to do. And this wood that we're using tonight is Sapele. It's a little bit pricey for most people. But when you actually have a little bit of a contact, or I shouldn't say contact, a little bit of a part-time job, so to speak, at Woodcraft, and I can buy it at a reasonable price.
Nice. That always helps.
So if you want, you can stop short of the line. You can make that a little bit of a bead up there. We'll see what this does. Not all woods like the bead up there, but we'll see. Switched over to spindle gouge. Make my tenon. Flatten out the bottom. And yes, I probably will have to bring a tailstock back up because this piece will want to be finished when I'm done. Or at least I hope it'll be finished when we're done. I will be able to finish it, put it that way. So I'll make this bottom to where I'm going to finish it. I'm going to use a traditional scraper. Not everybody likes to use them, but if you take a little bit of time and patience with them, they will work just fine. Just got to make sure they're a little bit downhill. And get that nice, crisp, clean surface in there. Simple little decoration. Flip it up on its edge. It will cut super clean on its edge. Can also get into this corner. Come around a little bit that way. Stop and take a look. If it's not as clean as I want, we'll change something different. But this, not all woods are not all wood scrape as well as others. Once again, we can use the same scraper up on its edge, on the side. Very gentle touch. The more gentle you are with it, and don't try and move in big areas. Move in nice little small areas, and it just saves you a whole bunch of time sanding later. So that should be good enough. Ideally, to leave a surface there that you could start sanding at maybe like 150, something like that. The longer you play with it, the more you get used to it. There's also another one you can use that's rather scary. That is a pointed one, which this one will get used up on its edge and doing the same motion. This one would actually allow you to get into that corner if you needed to. It will also help with this bead up here eventually. So we can't do much with this. We could do the bottom part of the bead. I think we can't do much. We can do a lot with the bottom part. So I'm going to switch back over to my spindle gouge. So I can get right into that corner and sort of undercut the corner a little bit, swing the handle around, drop the handle to go with it. Kind of a complex move in a way. And be very gentle, and we'll just sort of get this little bead sort of scraped. You're using the bottom wing. You're not really cutting as you go around that corner. It's where I say not every wood will like it. Walnut is one that doesn't really like it. So from there, if I was doing this as a finished piece, from there I would sand everything from down here, because then I don't need to come back to this at all. I do need to bring my tailstock back up and mark that. It'll just save me some time another day. I just leave, there's no point in this in the live center, if you didn't notice that. It's just a ring. That's normally what I use, just a ring for the most part, because it gives me the flexibility of being able to move the piece around. Chuck was a VM100, probably my most used chuck of all. Because a lot of the work I do is smaller. Now I'll switch to the 120 with the, I think they call them 3-inch jaws, something like that. Now, if I pay attention to the grain, it was a little challenging. The grain is still running in this direction, running that way, across the piece. So, it don't belong in there. It's a magnet. So if we can line that up with our jaws, one of our set of jaws, it'll give us the most uniform grip that there can be. The tenon could have been a shade bit smaller. It's going to leave some little marks in there. I want less than 1/8 of an inch in between those, and then it will not leave a mark, which is ideally what I would want for it. So now we'll make our little reverse cut. There's got to, the hard part on this is thinking that we still want to, our habit wants to cut still in this direction, and that's not really how it wants to be cut. We can make the shape that way, but we're really going to have to finish coming the other direction. So as long as we leave enough material, which we will, so we'll just give it a little bit of an undercut. Turn the lathe off to move the tool rest, of course. Safety Sue's watching. I don't want to get yelled at. But this Sapele actually cut pretty clean. When you get around to the end grain, side grain area, it's still a little bit rough right there. Could also flatten that out a little bit so we know where we're going to. Because I want this to come up and be able to form the other part of that bead up there. And that looks like that should be all right. Can always do the simple thing of we can always take more material off. It's a little challenging to put it back. Once again, I picked up my spindle gouge, go right into that corner underneath it. Just sort of drag the edge of it back over. What you can't see is the handle of the tool is probably down in my, almost down into my pocket. It's that low. It's pointing upward. So you got to be very gentle because it's sharp edge tool pointing up. Could lead you to have a bit of an issue. So one little cut, and we'll do that with the spindle gouge. And that gives us a nice crisp line underneath it. Should be nice and cleanly cut. Because this area, this is the only downfall of putting this bead in here, is this area becomes a bit more difficult, challenging to sand. So clean cut is what it's all about. So that's it. That's pretty much the outside finished up. You go to the inside. It also is, well, we'll get there on that part. It also is going to give us a little bit more of a difficult situation, or I shouldn't say difficult, different situation, because now this has got to be undercut back up in this area here. So it becomes a little bit more difficult. We're on center.
Getting a little bit of kickback there from the shavings coming up on you.
Yeah, I try and keep my hand in the right place. It helps to keep them from going where I don't really want them.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's what I do too.
So we need a little bit of room in here to work. That's really the only reason I'm getting rid of a fair amount of more material. I want to leave the middle. Don't want to take too much of that out, or else it will cause us issues. I switched over to it's still a 60-degree gouge. The only difference is it has straight wings. So this one is freehand ground, which is a bit of a, what do you want to call it? A bit of a challenge when you're not used to it. I'm still struggling with it with certain tools. Gotta watch because I got the cable. I'm about ready to rip the camera off. So we start on the side. We got our cut. Hang on. Give me one short second. I gotta move this camera. I'll switch so you don't get dizzy. Okay, that should be good. The handle was ready to run into the camera mount. Still probably catch on the cord. I'll move that one up out of the road. Okay, now we can get back to it.
Talk to us about the 60-degree grind on that.
That is what you call Matt Monaco special. I watched him last January down in Tennessee doing a demonstration, and he talked about it, and I've watched a couple of his videos since then. It also, for one, when you grind it that way, probably really hard to actually see it up close and personal. So you had your typical swept back grind there on the right, and the straight wing grind on the left. But the difference, the real big difference is this one probably has 3/16 of a bevel. This only has about 1/8 of an inch of actual cutting bevel. So the smaller the bevel, the cleaner the cut, less contact with the wood. It is, he calls it a cleaner cutting tool. It is in some ways because it gives you a much smaller nose on it compared to other ones. I got to get down a little bit further, get some more of that out. And it will cut very clean. Trying to get rid of that chunk of wood. The other thing, the other availability it gives to you, and that's one, and this was sort of the shape that he did down there. And he wasn't happy with the curve he was getting in here, and he went right back over to the grinder and actually ground it at a steeper angle yet, more like 65 degrees. So you can play around with that to get it to make a smaller curve easier, like on the inside of something like this.
Yeah.
But I think I'm happy with it so far. If you want to take giant size shavings, like doing greenwood or something like that, this is not necessarily the tool for it, because the wing, when you straighten out the wing, it becomes a much smaller wing. But you can play around with it a lot more as far as to be able to manipulate things. I'm not necessarily as good with it on the inside of a bowl as what I would be on the outside. But as you can see, it left me make that curve.
Yeah, it sure did.
Where sort of the swept back one maybe would let me make that curve, maybe not. When you're doing this kind of a shape, you notice I keep stopping. It's not because I'm doing a demonstration and I don't want to show you how to blow a bowl up, but you got to be really careful, because when you're going back underneath and you start to swing back, you can swing down too far and end up making it very thin down in there. So the last thing before I go too far is I'm going to flatten out just a small area at the top of this bowl. 1/8 of an inch, something like that. Get rid of the razor blade, both sides. And then we should be able to proceed on down through the bottom. The other problem with this, with doing the things that are undercut, all the chips like to stay there. Nice gentle curve. Go nice and slow and easy, and it'll cut super clean. Just wanted to stop and make sure that we're not getting too far down, get carried away, so to speak. If we wanted to, we could bring our tool rest in. Really doesn't do us much benefit, but it's more psychological for most people, because the tool's still way back over here. But definitely, if you can get your hands on some of this Sapele, you can get it at a reasonable price.
It does turn very, very nice. It's very pretty when it's finished. Of course, probably the only reason that I would be using any of it is because of the fact that I can get it at that really super reasonable price. Left a hump there. It's not what I wanted to do. So we'll see if we have a gentle enough touch to come back up into here and make this curve. Your fingers tell all. I just had a group of people that I taught lessons to like a week ago, and I'm like, just take your fingers, run your fingers with the piece, and you'll feel every little bump and lump and everything in there that you can't see with your eye. That should have taken care of it. Yep. There's a little bit of a line in there, but I'm not gonna keep on messing around with it. I should have caught that a little bit. That's a little bit of, there's a little bit of disturbed grain right in here where I made the curve go around too quickly. But it will sand out well, easy enough. So that's basically, that's the bowl part done. Like I say, it's actually a fairly quick project in some ways, because you're only starting with a 2-inch piece of material.
Right.
I didn't do as good of a job in there as what I should have. I also probably do not have. The other thing you could go after something like that, if you wanted to, would be a traditional, there again, it's traditional scraper, but I don't think, actually, what I'm looking at, this would be a bowl scraper more so. And you know what? It actually will work. So we'll try it once. And we don't even need to move the tool rest on that one. That one is, this one is 10 mil thick. We should move just a shade. So we'll see. Maybe. It's all about saving the sanding time as far as I'm concerned. Yes, it left lines on either side of where I was at, but it also got rid of the little bit of disturbed grain in there. So in all reality, you should have one a little bit tighter and of a radius to actually get into something like that. Or take a little bit more time when you're trying to make that curve. Make it right first time. Then you don't got to go back after it. So that's our bowl. Now we need to do the lid. Oh, the chuck key. At this point, I do put the point back in the live center. As we'll do the scenario that makes some people sort of cringe. I could actually put it back in between centers, but there's nothing wrong with putting it up against the chuck face. It's more than secure enough of a grip.
Friction drive.
I mean, if you get too aggressive with it, it just basically just stops spinning. So it's not like it's the end of the world. I've never had one fly out. I've done this with 2-inch bold blanks already, even 3-inch bold blanks. So we do need some way to grip it because this is going to be the top. So that's first order of business. I'm going to mark it. Here's where it becomes a little bit more difficult to use the calipers to mark a tenon because I'm reaching over the tailstock to do so. So it's much quicker to get a hold of the other side of it. You only do, that's another one of them scenarios. You only do that once or maybe twice, and it'll be so well ingrained in your head. Because it will come flying past your head. Spindle gouge, go right in on my mark. Drag it back. Make sure it is a bit of a dovetail because I use dovetail jaws. I don't want to take too much. This material is only it's a little less than 1 inch thick. So I don't want to do too much off of it, or we won't have anything left. And we need to have something left. And now we can shape the rest of it. Get rid of the elbow whacker. Start with our face. Could do Richard Rappin and just keep the spindle gouge, but I don't find that that's the way I want to do it. This time we will go from both sides though. Just a little bit. Should be round at that. Yep. Razor blade, it's hard maple. That's one of the things that you almost can't stress enough. Not totally round there, but that doesn't matter. Will be good. We're going to flatten out this face a little bit. Couple ways we did that drag cut earlier. You can also just come out here, flatten out a little area out here, flip the tool over, bevel supported cut. It'll be nice and clean the whole way to the bottom. Slow down at the middle, cut it off, don't break it off. Now we have a clean surface. So really should have measured these jaws when I had the opportunity. Can you tell I don't do recesses very often? This is what I'll use for this though. So grab my other dividers, put that thing almost closed. Open it up to the outside. Measurement going somewhere thereabouts the screw hole. There's line up the screws so that you're getting that round area. Something like that. So now we know where the outside of those jaws are going to be. So now we have the tool rest in place. We can use it, but we can't use it flat. We got to hold it up on a bit of an angle or it's not going to go across the center line. So now we have our area marked. Parting tool is grounded at an angle to match the dovetail. Go in no more than 1/8 of an inch. Don't get excited because it'll be a lot less than 1/8 of an inch when we're done. So now we can make this into like a button. Get rid of some material there. You can come back and make a bevel supported cut from the center to the outside. We also could just pick up our traditional scraper and remove all that with that as well, if you wanted to. Go out leaving just a little bit of a flat area out there when we're done. It's dovetailed, so it should fit our chuck. If it don't, it's not the end of the world because we still have a tenon on the other side. So now we need the measurement of our bowl on the inside. Thereabouts. Once again, always a little fat, a little heavy on that is not going to hurt you. A little easier to take more off than try and change something. So that should be the area where our bowl is going to fit. Keyword is should be. Once again, I will switch back to my spindle gouge for this work. You could use a multitude of different tools right here. If I was so minded and would have put the square end scraper in a handle, I could have used that as well. Wonders of the spindle gouge has got such a sharp point that can go right in on that scribe line. I want this to be about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. Razor blade goes away. Here's where it becomes like making a lidded box. We got to check it. We're not even close, so we know we can straighten that out. I also made that tapered, smaller here than here. So now I can go back and basically straighten it. First move, straighten it out a little bit, come back and make it a little bit of a taper. Bottom to top. Usually takes me a couple times to get it right. We're very close right there. It's actually 3/4 of the way up on there. If you needed to, at this point, this could be a jam chuck because it certainly would hold well enough. Could be a little bit longer now. It shouldn't be tapered on a jam chuck as well, but something like that can be used as a jam chuck to hold something. These, I don't want these to fit really tight. So increase the length of it a little bit. Come back in from the outside, make a clean cut into that corner. Razor blade goes away. The only razor blade I don't take away is the one with where the tenon's going to be. And you can take some of that away as well. You could actually make that decorative. Wish we might just up and do that once we get that far. We could put a bead in there, or several beads if you wanted to. Oh, we're still not quite there. Like I say, this needs to be loose fitting. It is all side grain, so when Mother Nature does its thing, then it will always fit. I do try and leave these tapered. So it's the only place that when Mother Nature does its thing in the seasons, there, it wiggles, which is okay. It's wintertime. Come summertime, that will fit perfectly. And it's not going to, it really doesn't rattle around. The other
Kurt,
thing
Kurt, could you explain the razor blade comment?
Okay. Well, like I said, it doesn't really matter that it's hard maple on the lid, any of that stuff. Close enough. When this is cleanly cut right here, like right here, that's sharp. If you were to touch that while it's spinning, it will slice your finger like nobody's business very, very quickly. Because you're concentrating for the most part. You're concentrating like in here. I'm concentrating in here. I'm not watching where this hand is going. That's all the time. So if it gets up against that edge, now it just slices right through your hand. So I've taught that a long time ago to make sure you get rid of any of those really sharp edges before you get cut, basically. So that's what I do with it. It's kind of a really simple kind of a thing. So let's just put one, probably just one bead. Do two. I don't think three would work too. D-Way beading tool. This will probably really make my lid fit much looser. When you use any of these beading tools, mark however many beads you want to do, mark them, and then proceed to cut. If you mark this bead, if you tried to mark or cut one bead and come back in and say, I'm going to get right beside that other one, the likelihood of you being successful is very slim. So now we need to undercut that very last bead a little bit. And then we have our dovetail. It doesn't take much, at least if you have dovetail jaws. I can't speak for other manufacturers of jaws. But like I say, these are the Vicmark. It will have no issues cutting or grabbing a hold of a recess that is going to be that small. And it's basically going to be up underneath that bead. Give it a little bit of more of a taper out here. So the only thing that's going to hit it is going to be that bead. Now that I created this out here, I'm going to get rid of this little line that the beading cutter left. Into that corner. There's our bowl. We want a little bit of an overhang on it, something out in there. And once I cut across here, I'll show you what I'm talking about with the razor blade. I'm just trying to think what I have. Well, a paper towel will probably work. To show you just how sharp it is. Especially if you're cutting very cleanly. In this case, we actually have two razor blades. So if I grab, after you knock everything on the floor, grab a little simple paper towel. It's a little piece of the paper towel. So if this is your finger or hand, see what it did to it? The paper towel? Slice right straight into it. So if you're to touch that with your hand, the wonders of it is that you won't even feel it. That's the really scary one, is you will not even feel it cut you. So we need a little bit more off. I got about 1/8 of an inch around there. I think first off, we'll just round it over a little bit. I'll go back to my spindle gouge again. We'll just give it a nice little bit of a bead around that corner. So I'll take one more look. Like that, the bottom of the bead is basically right just about even with the top rim of the bowl, which is how I would like it to be. Once again, personal preference. Everything else is cut clean enough, because I'll probably good chances we'll end up remaking this piece for the lid to actually finish the piece for me. So we're on a recess. We're also pretty much just about a perfect circle. There's only about a 1/16 of an inch in between that area. That's probably only a 1/16 of an inch grip on the inside of that piece, in case you're wondering, which is enough as far as I'm concerned. I watched a demonstration with Mike Mahoney the one year at a symposium, and he turned an 18-inch platter on a Tennant
that if you didn't look at the TV screen, you wouldn't even be able to see it. So it does work. You just sort of have to have a little bit of confidence in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And then execute it.
Correct. But I mean, things have got to be cut correctly. You
Right.
can't just half-ass things like that. Same way with the tenants, things like that. You can't just say, well, that's my dad's famous last word. That was close enough. Well, close enough doesn't necessarily always work.
Right.
All I'm going to do is take this down just a little bit. We're going to put a little bit of an OG shape on this lid. Just a little easier if it's flatter, start with. So we can do the rule of thirds. So if we said, okay, center, somewhere thirds, third. So if we come in about a third of an inch, third of the way, it's probably a little far in. Somewhere out in this area. There again, I'm using the swept back grind. Turn my tool rest at a bit of an angle. Use the bottom of the wing because it's curved. So it will actually give us a very simple, easy, quick and easy curve down here. Looks like it could be a little higher up. Also thinning it down as we go. Gotta remember there's a recess in there, which I don't normally use. So now if we went a third. Now if we go a half away, which would be somewhere out in about here. We don't need to measure it, just guess. And then we make this curve come down to meet that curve. Now we have a nice little OG in a very, very short period of time. Quick and easy. Clean it up. We'll go from the center. Slow and easy. This is also where I switch back to the straight wing gouge. For one, it's also considerably sharper than the other one. Done less work. And now we got angel hair shavings coming off of it. And it should be pretty much cleanly cut the whole way across. No tear out. Some little ripples in there, but something like that you could easily start with like 180 grit sandpaper. That's kind of my goal anymore, is to be able to start higher on sandpaper. Just makes life easier. We still left an edge up here. Don't let me forget to drill a hole in it though. There we go. So there's our rounded over. We can go on both sides at this point because we have total access to it. Just using the bottom wing, just literally just dragging it across. We leave that little point sticking up in the top. Who cares? Because in about 2 seconds flat, that little thing sticking up, whatever you want to consider that little thing sticking up there, is gone when you touch it with sandpaper. So some of it becomes an issue as far as I'm concerned on do not waste too much time on some of that stuff. Now we need a hole for the finial. I did not get that drill bit out. Hang with me a second. Or the knob, I should say. It's not really a finial. It's more of a knob. I want it to, because you're going to use it to lift the lid off. Something like this, to me, a finial would not be, it may look neat to other wood turners, but the person that may or may not want to decide to buy something like that, it's not going to be exciting to them because it's going to be too small, dainty, and they will think that they can't lift it by that part. Here's, we're going about the depths of the drill bit. I hope for the best. But I didn't really measure anything.
So that's our lid ready to go. So there's where we are so far on the side. And there again, since we have this recess on the back, if we say to her, if that little brain says, yeah, or better yet, if I take it upstairs and give it to the critic upstairs and she says, yeah, that lid looks too big, it looks too much overhang or whatever, we can always go back, put it back on the recess and return this outside edge a little bit without too much trouble. Okay? Switch back to the small chuck. One of the reasons I don't necessarily like I shouldn't say don't use the big chucks very often. If I'm doing big bowls or something like that, it's a different story. But to use that one all the time, thing weighs twice as much as what the 100 does. And I'm getting a little old in my age, so I don't try to create more work for myself. And now we'll go back over here because everything here is going to be straight up and down. I already have a piece rounded. It just so happened that's what I found today. This is also Sapele. Oh, we don't need a 9-inch tool rest. Need a small tool rest to be able to get in here nice and tight, relatively tight. Adjust everything before you turn things on. Spin by hand. And now we're going to do spindle work. We're going to use a spindle gouge. My personal preference is the 3/8 spindle gouge. This also has a very short handle on it. I love to show this to people that I'm teaching because what they have at Woodcraft is the traditional, would look like this guy here, 16-inch handle, or maybe not quite 16, and a 1/2-inch spindle gouge. And then I give them this. I say, here, try this one. And they're like, there's no handle on my road. I say, exactly. This also is drilled down that deep into the handle. It's as deep as I could go with the drill bit that I had. So most of the tool is down in the handle. This allows me to do all my work in front of me without having the handle get in my road. I actually have a parting tool. I could actually put it in that handle compared to that one. But I'm just too lazy. I've gotten used to using this one. So we could do a simple design if we wanted to. All I'm doing is checking 90 degrees flat out whether I'm going to be able to get to center, which we are. Could flatten this out just a shade. And she looks like it's running pretty much true. Not that it really matters. So now we get to practice our spindle work by making a cove. A nice long sweeping cove. Slow down at the end, we can make a nice, simple, straight up point, which we'll have to get rid of the point a little bit later. Just trying to think of where I want it to be. We're going to call it somewhere in there. We're not locked into that at this point. Roll bead going back the other way. It looks a little fat for the size of the piece that it is, in my opinion.
Good eye.
Okay. Nothing, if all else fails, believe me, I don't have no exact science on that one, is we could pick it up and look at it somewhere close to our lid. Say, well, probably looks okay. It's only a little piece of wood, so if it doesn't suit you, just make a new one. By the time you make 3 or 4 of them, you might get the one you want. So now we're going to make another cove. We're going to come up underneath that, or right down to it at least anyhow. We'll bring the 2 down to meet. Get into a nice clean corner. In the very bottom, something like that. Before I stick my finger, I'm going to knock that point off, just with this piece of sandpaper. Because I know me, I've been stuck by them a few too many times. So now the other end of it, I want to curve that in a little bit. Also shrink it down just a little bit. I want this part down here to be a little bit bigger than that. I'm actually thinking it's still too big and round. Shouldn't be doing this. I don't know if you can hear the noise. It's gonna start to talk to me pretty quickly there. Well, I'm going very slow, very gentle touch. Yeah, quit playing with it or you will have it flying. Just live with it. It could have been a little bit more of an abrupt beat, but there again, it's another one of them personal preference kind of things. From here, we're going to need a tenant. Need to set that tenant. Also have a razor blade back here that you could very easily touch. Now I'll go back to my parting tool that's grounded in angle for my chuck. This will actually also allow me to undercut something relatively easily. In this case, it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference because it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be super cleanly cut in there. Grab a little set of dividers, calipers, whatever you want to consider them. I'm going to set it so that it's relatively tight. This is another one of those things of kind of a bit of a pain. But once again, it's not the end of the world. I'd much rather it be, I'm going to need them both, a little fatter than too skinny. So the corners of these have been taken off. They will not grab. You buy them new, make sure that's first order of business, and take a file or the grinder or something and knock those corners off. Last cut will have to be with the angled one. And that should be that for that. Now we can remove it, cut it off with my ultra thin parting tool. You know, somebody that owns or see somebody that uses a bandsaw sawmill, just politely go up and ask them, say, hey, can I have a piece of your broken bandsaw blade? They're like 1 3/8 wide. And this makes a wonderful parting tool that's basically free, especially if you're really nice to the guy. That left a sharp edge in there. I'm going to take and get in there just give it a little taper. Hold it with my 2 fingers and just literally cut it off. And then see whether we actually have a fit, which 3/4 of the time do not, which I do not. So is that the end of the world or a big pain in the you-know-what from there? Well, it can be. But we'll solve that one in a second. But now, here's another scenario for you. Another way of grabbing a hold of something like this. This little guy here I'm referring to, not the big guy. Little guy, we need to get a hold of him. Probably the one I use it for all the time would be the top of a Christmas tree ornament. I don't exactly have one sitting here to be able to show you what I'm talking about, but we'll do it with this guy, that we can make our own chuck to grab a hold of some sort of a tenant. So we go back to our original drill bit. This is one of the places you kind of have to know where the other end of your drill bit's going to go. You can feel it go out the other side and stop. Of course, this size of hole, it wouldn't matter because it would go through the center of the chuck anyhow. But now we have somewhere, and you say, oh my God, that's still too daggone tight, which it is. Get rid of the drill bit because that will stick me for sure. So, should have actually cleaned that up a little bit better. It would have been nicer, but it's okay. So we have the whole way through. The grain is running across this direction. At least that's what I'm assuming. So we could do a couple different things. We could take one of the little Japanese saws. Just so happens the bandsaw actually is sitting directly behind me. So if I take and slice that into the hole, now it will expand and contract. Now this piece will slide in there, at least it should. The thing is actually really, really super tight. And if we put it back into our chuck, aligning that saw mark in between 2 jaws, this will give us a very, very good grip on something, especially if it would go the whole way. It isn't really running horribly out of true right there. But if the tenant took a little bit more time with the tenant and made sure it was better, like I say, the top of a Christmas tree ornament, I make the ones that kind of like the birdhouse ones where the tenant's on the top. It just gives you a really simple way of gripping that to finish out the very top part of it. So if this would actually go the whole way in, which it should have, but it will if I break it, don't break it. Or I won't be able to get it off.
Get a hammer.
Yeah. I left you can see the burnish mark. I left a little bit of a lump at the bottom of it. So we could take, if you really wanted to be a true woodworker, you could just take a piece of sandpaper and wrap around that. Wrap a piece of sandpaper around it. Dremel. It doesn't have to look pretty for any means. And this is Sapele. Sapele is very soft, so it won't take much to take that lump off. So now that'll slide the whole way up on there. It'll probably actually fit into the top of the piece too. So now we have something that runs very true, or true enough that if we wanted to, if it didn't suit me up here, we could actually go back to turning on this, even though it's relatively thin there. We could take a couple more cuts up here and make this top longer or change the shape. But in this case, it's going to give me the ideal way to come back and be able to sand this. Sand and finish. Now, if I was going to finish it with the 3408, which of course is what I will finish it with, this would have to come out a little ways. I certainly can't have it. It's the only downfall. I mean, you almost always have to take it the whole way off and maybe even spin it a little bit to get it back out. But if I wanted to finish that with whatever, like I say, my choice would be the 3408. But now I can finish it on the lathe with it spinning just like that. If you're concerned about sanding down against this, you don't really need to be. I could have chamfered this. On the ones that I use for the ornaments, I will usually take and chamfer that a little bit so it's sitting inside of this, so I have more access to everything. But the bottom line is, if I was making it as a finished piece, all this would have already been sanded before I cut it loose. Everything would have been ready to, it could even be finished at that point before you did. But when you make a mistake or you need to go back, that's another simple way of rechucking something.
Great tip.
Now this will probably fit, yeah. Of course, now it's the next best problem is you didn't measure anything, so now it's 3/16 of an inch too long. Then once again, it's not the end of the world. A little handsaw and cut it off, and it will fit. A little Japanese saws takes it right off. We do have one here. See if I can not cut my fingers with it. I wouldn't recommend doing this on the bandsaw or any power saw. Wouldn't be a great idea. Also not a great idea to bang the teeth onto the bed of the lathe, but we didn't do it too hard. Because I wanted to get it to go the whole way down in. Probably no, my luck, I probably still didn't take enough off, which I didn't.
I cut it 3 times and it's still too short.
And well, now it's too long. It's still too long. It doesn't go down. Because that's why I undercut the top a little bit. Because this is rounded up here. You could leave a flat area up there, but once again, now you're giving yourself less design opportunity on this piece here because you have to consider what's underneath it. Where if it's all round underneath it or slightly rounded, you make this slightly concave. No matter what you do, it still sits on the outside edge. That one there, I would say that's probably a little bit too big and fat for that. I don't necessarily like the shape on that one. So that will probably get a new one.
I would say the opposite. I love what you just showed. That's gorgeous.
Well, and this is kind of pointy. How time do we got? We have time?
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
Right.
Spin up another one.
All right.
Or spin up the same one and reduce it.
Right, whatever. I'll tell you. I thought that was pretty.
We could try it. I don't think it'll work because it's already thin here, so it's probably not going to let me do what I want to do with it. But we'll try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
I love it. I love it. Wade in.
That is a simple thing to be able to redo things. And of course, I didn't clean up the face. Nobody will ever. You're the only ones that know that's not true.
It's okay if it's a little offset. That'll be interesting too.
You'll never see the offset.
Yeah, right.
It'll turn out.
We're going to reduce the diameter first. And probably give it a totally different shape because I think I only did one of these. I watched trying to think of his name. Richard Finley from over across the pond is now into doing some of these how-to videos. And this was something that he showed the one morning or the one day. It was morning for us. It wouldn't have been morning for him. Of making this simple little I don't know what he was actually using it for. I don't think he was actually using it for anything. But it was more of an exercise in rolling beads into another shape. Into a shape more like that. Can drive yourself nuts. Keep playing with it. And if you need practice rolling beads or you feel you need practice on some of that stuff, I think that was Bob that showed earlier making the Christmas trees. That is an ideal project to work on making half of a cove. Because I don't know if Bob sells his, but that's one of the goofy things that everybody seems to love at a craft show is the trees. And now this year it's mushrooms. So that's a totally different look than what it was. Now it actually looks like it's too small. Once again, it's a wooden jam chuck in there. Don't move the tool rest when the machine's running. It can have adverse effects. But it's a wooden jam chuck, so there's nothing that says that I can't go back in here and literally cut right into it. And it won't hurt a thing. And we'll just reduce the diameter of this a little bit. Try and get a little bit more, in my opinion, a little bit more proportion. Which I think that looks a little better. Probably would look a whole lot better if it was cut off that would go the whole way in the lid, but we can work on that too. Do not leave the chuck key in the chuck. My father will smack your fingers. It is very dangerous.
Yes.
Because you can easily get distracted, especially if you're doing any kind of demonstration or teaching. So to me, that's a much better look for it. Sort of.
Yeah.
This could actually be
That's beautiful. It is. It's
a
beautiful.
little bit more of a cove.
Yeah, you hit it. You hit it right there. That's good. That's nice.
Of course, it still doesn't fit. And now it's almost getting too small to try and cut a piece off. If all else fails, there's what's this thing called a sander. And we have, a $3,000 sanding machine here. So I use a little one for a lot of this stuff. Morse taper on a drill chuck. Perfectly safe to use this one without a drawbar coming in because all your force is going to be pushing that direction. You're not sanding over here to where you're pushing across. Everything goes that way. I've never had one of these try and walk out. If anything, it makes it so cotton picking tight that it makes it hard to get out. Not quite enough yet. Yeah. I usually drill them holes too deep, but not today. It's a bad day if you drill it out the other side, though.
Yeah.
I had
right.
lots of material, but and there's another good indication. It will get done a new one. But like I said, I left a curve on the lid, but I also did not undercut this far enough. Haste makes waste. That's where we're at. There's big enough gap I could put a piece of paper in there. Now that being said, if it was the best piece that you ever turned and you don't want to turn another one, then you could just take a Dremel or something like that and go in there and chew out around that little tenon so that it fits a little bit further down on the lid. There's our piece.
Very cool.
Very pretty.
Yeah. I might have to go back and watch his video again or get the one. I have one of these somewhere. I think it's packed away for the craft show this weekend.
You know what? You're beating yourself up. That's
Well,
really pretty.
yeah, I mean
that's pretty.
that's where the design opportunities come into play.
Yeah, right. That Ruby, you're right. I love that shape.
Yeah, it's just a simple shape and
no, you're beating yourself up. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Matt Monaco talked about that. He did it. The demonstration he did was actually on a bowl, and he did this return up the top of a bowl, and it was pretty good size. I thought it looked pretty kind of neat in a way. It also makes it a lot more difficult to do for a lot of people because you have to undercut this back in here.
Right.
So that does take a bit of practice, a little bit of patience. It also takes a bit of patience even to sand it. That will have to get sanded with probably a disc of that size in there, or actually sanded by hand. Use hand sandpaper in that area to sand that, which I try and stay away from myself. But it just makes a simple little, a little candy dish or something like that. So
yeah, it's it's
ask me Sunday whether it's worth any of the extra effort. We'll see whether the one that I have complete, whether it disappears off the shelf on Sunday.
Hey, Kurt, that is absolutely gorgeous. I love the finial, the way you changed it. And I can't take pictures when you have it finished, because then the ribbon on the sapele will really come out.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Ribbon is sweet.
Sapele does look quite neat, I think.
Isn't sapele called the poor man's mahogany?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
They also call it ribbon mahogany.
I've never heard it called ribbon mahogany, but it is. Most people refer to it as the poor man's mahogany. So if we spray a little bit of alcohol on it, that's the color it will turn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Spray it on the finial to show them. Isn't the finial sapele as well?
Yeah, it's the same thing. You just want to dry my hands out more yet by spraying alcohol on them. The finial, the smaller diameter. I mean, the finial look interesting, but compared to the actual bowl, there's really no comparison when you get it down really small.
Yeah.
The bigger it is, the nicer it looks.
Yeah, I mean, semi-lune table with sapele came out beautiful.
But it is, I know the woodcraft store where I teach at, they get some of this. There's some, what did he tell me? I asked the owner about it. I'm like, where are you getting? I said, you have this stuff in stock? No. Well, we have some, not much, not thick stuff like this. So there's an outfit that's making exterior moldings out of this stuff that's be like 45 minutes away or something like that. And he goes down and buys the whole skid full of what they would consider to be scrap. Now, some of the stuff is anywhere from 2 feet to, I've seen some of it almost 3 feet long, and it could be anywhere from 4/4 right up through 12/4. If any ever seen 1 or 2 pieces that would have been like 3.5 or 4 inches thick, and they sell it by the pound. They don't even sell it by the board foot. But they sell it at like $4 a pound. So the piece that I bought, that's not even a piece that I bought. I don't see it offhand. I put it somewhere else because the wonders of doing classes is they have all the machinery there, but I'd rather do things in my own shop. So I bring a lot of the materials home and cut things. I'm going to do tops on Black Friday. So I brought a couple pieces 8/4 maple home and cut them up. There's also another piece of sapele that this one I'm going to teach a class in ornaments in December. So this is going to be the top of the ornament. The base of the ornament will be hard maple. So it'll be a really the same contrast. It won't be curly maple, but same contrast as this. It'll be, dark and light. So, yeah. But like I say,
they're selling them scraps as offcuts or whatever you want to consider them at that store for, I think, $4 a pound. So the piece that I bought before I left over there the other day, I think weighed in at about 3.5 pounds, something like that. So it would have been like $14. So it was 6 inches wide and about 18 inches long, something like that. So it is not cheap to use, or would not be cheap to use.
Right. So it's got a little bit of weight to it then.
Yes, it is surprisingly heavy weight wise than what you would really think. When you think of the mahogany's usually not very heavy in weight. But I mean, you compare that to, you know, the same size stick in a hard maple. And actually, I don't have one the same length. If I had one the same length. So this is what I'm getting ready for. This will be tops in some of the class. But when you pick both of these up, this one is, we're too close. Let's widen way back out. So this piece would be the piece of Sapele is probably 4 inches longer than the piece of maple. And you would assume that the hard maple would be much heavier, but this piece is actually, you can tell it even just by hand that this piece is considerably heavier. And they are both the same squares. It's just 4 inches longer. So yeah, it is kind of heavy, which good for the store because you're selling something by the pound. So that's all I got.
Right on.
Anybody else doing these stupid things for this time of year?
I'm hoping to get back into making some tops here before Christmas time. Those are pretty.
I'll tell you what. I'll make them now since you asked.
This is something that our turning club goes to they call it a farm show. It's a week-long event, and we take a lathe and we get people to volunteer to come in and turn. This is one of the things that I usually do. I generally don't use the texturing tool. If I do anything, I might use a chatter tool or something like that, because as soon as the kids see what you're doing and what you're making, and better yet, you're going to give it to them, you may have 10 to 15 kids standing there waiting for one. So
that's the coolest thing, isn't it?
So you don't have the time. So I do have the Tombow markers. So I just will color them. But you know, when we go over there, you need to get this down to about 10 minutes or less. So texturing is not in that vocabulary.
That looks finished. Have you finished that?
That is a cheater's finish. Yes, it is.
What's the cheater's finish?
That's a cheater's finish. My daughter has a 2-year-old, my 2-year-old granddaughter, and she's a bit of a germaphobe and doesn't want this kid. I told her, I said, when she gets old enough, I'm going to take her out. I still know some people that own farms. I said, we're going to go to the farm and we're going to spend some time at the farm so she gets dirty. And you don't even need to go along. But when making them tops right away, she wants to grab one. Well, little kids always have wet fingers. They've stuck their finger in their mouth, you know, whatever they've done. You don't want to ask too many questions. And those Tombow markers that I have, actually I have 2 different sets, but this is the ones that I use. These are actually water-based. This came from a scrapbooking store. What did they call it? Yard sale, I think it was. My wife drugged me along to this place. As you see what the price tag is, there's not a number behind that. This bag full of these Tombow markers was $3. There was also another one there that was $4 or something like that. I restrained and only bought 1 bag of them, but these are all water-based. And I can tell you right now, you go on Amazon and look one of them up. They're acid-free. According to this, they were water-based. It doesn't really tell you that on there. But same way with any of the dyes or anything like that, if it's not sealed in some way and your fingers are wet, it comes off under your fingers. So my daughter's like, you got to do something with them. I said, I am not finishing tops. I've already sold 24 or 25 of them in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I said, I don't have time to be messing with that. So I'm like, how about we just put a little carnauba wax? And it's just this, it's a stick. I mean, I have the buffing system, so I already had it. So I just literally take, not this one, I have another one that's smaller. Literally, when I would do the end, texture it, I take a little bit of Scotch-Brite pad, go over the end of it while it's spinning. A fine Scotch-Brite pad. I ran into some of these. This one's quite dirty. These are actually made by Mirka. These are supposed to be, I think the package said they were like, would be like 800 grit sandpaper or something like that. So I tried them. Well, I just go over that with that, color them, take the carnauba wax while it's spinning at 2,000 RPMs, just lightly come out across it, take a paper towel, and it will melt it. And once again, it's carnauba, so don't put too much on or you can get streaks in it. But that's all it's on them. There's a simple little bit of carnauba wax. It makes them shine. It also protects them.
Right. Good idea. Okay.
So it worked. I tried some other stuff. I have some of them like microcrystalline waxes and things like that I've gotten tried over the years. And I'm like, that's just, it didn't give me the shine that I want. I wanted them to stay shiny or want them to be shiny. So the carnauba wax, and the only place it's on them is the colored part. I don't do the stem. It's just the colored part. I just want the colored part not to come off onto somebody's fingers.
Right.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Someday
Nice
I'll get
work.
the texture. Someday I'll get the texturing tool figured out. Probably not anytime soon, but another work in progress, I guess.
I'll tell you what, the whole evening was very enjoyable.
I thank you. Appreciate that.
My God, for sure. It was great.
Fantastic demo. Well,
Good
if
old
anybody
boy.
has any questions
Very
for
nice,
Kurt,
Kurt.
now's the opportune time to ask Kurt anything you want regarding what you saw tonight and why he did things a certain way, and I'm sure he'd be glad to explain anything to you.
Yep.
Kurt, did you use a drawbar with that Jacobs chuck in your headstock, or is it just
Nope.
stuck in the?
It
Okay,
just stuck in
cool.
there. So I said if you were paying attention.
Right? Come on, Matt.
But
Just making sure everybody knows.
Think of it this way, Matt. As I said, when you're shoving that in, all of our force, since it's got a sanding pad on, all of our force is going in that direction. If I'm going to use this to drill, like I was going to drill a tool handle or something like that, tool handle pretty much would be the only thing I would drill on the headstock side. Then I do have this one. This one would not. The other one actually has a threaded part. Then yes. Anything else I would use on here, the buffing system, the buffing wheels or anything like that, it all gets a drawbar on it because it won't stay in. This won't stay in either if you were, you shouldn't pick on your people that paid good money to actually take a class, but I put this is how I let them finish the bottom of their bowl. You know, it had the little, generally I take the tenon off. I don't do this with them because we only have one set of jaws and they're I think it's Nova, I think they're the G3s or whatever. So it's a 50 millimeter jaw. So this size foot on an 8-inch bowl is a little bit, to me, is a little bit too small. So we just remove the tenon, which I just use, a jam block basically in between. So this would be mounted in the chuck. This comes up in there, tailstock comes up. You can remove all but this tiny little, maybe that little ring size in the middle. And then I have one of these in my toolkit that I take along, and I just put this in a chuck and, explain to them, you're sanding out here. Well, the lady in this last class, I didn't really go back and look at this. She probably took chunks out of this. For whatever reason, she was thinking this blue stuff was sandpaper. And I turned around and looked at her. I'm like, no. I'm like, sandpaper's over here. Oh, okay. I said, give me a second. Well, just that little bit, because I do the same thing over there. I don't have a drawbar for that one. just that little bit over here started to walk that Morse taper right out. It will
Yeah,
it will come out quickly.
it doesn't take much. I know that. That's why I asked. Yeah.
No, it doesn't take much. But in the same token, right here now, I can twist it and get it out. If I sand on that for just a tiny bit, a little bit of time, of course, now I shoved it in, it won't come out. When I do this in a class and let 4 people sand on this, now those people generally push hard on things to start with. I had to go get a hammer to hit the drawbar to get it out of there.
You know what though? You know what though? I mean, I hear that you teach and I watch you on Saturday evenings.
Well, it's Sunday now.
Okay. And
Sunday evenings.
I enjoy myself that when I'm watching you. But why even put that in there? I myself, I would have a chuck in there, and I would make a sanding block, and put a tenon on it, especially if you're teaching, to be that safe.
Yeah, it works.
Well, I'll tell you.
I mean, I actually technically have a drawbar over there. I don't really even remember what do they use this one. Oh no, I don't have a drawbar because this one
I myself I wouldn't trust that.
Well, you got to have a tiny bit of faith in people.
No,
that's really
not even in myself.
that's yeah, and like I said, a tiny little bit of faith. But yeah, that's it.
It works great. If it comes out, don't try to catch it.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah.
Right.
That's great advice. Yeah, don't try to catch it.
You're talking about that. Some of the things I just did. I probably don't have that over here yet now either. I just did the lanterns, a lantern class. That was one of the classes last weekend. I taught 3 classes. I make it worthwhile. But I did these lanterns. You've seen I was thinking of doing one of these tonight, but you've seen them before. And of course, you have to drill the holes. So this is on a Jet. What they have over there is a Jet 1221. And generally, I'm not buying 10 different drill bits just to be able to teach classes. So I use my own drill bits. I don't go down the avenue of where am I going to find it over there. I'm sure there's some around, but it's like they're probably dull because they've been around forever and whatnot. But I stress to the people about keeping their left hand while they were drilling. All well and good. The Jet 1221 only has about probably 2 inches of, maybe a little bit more. I have one. I should actually check it. So in this case, this was a 7/8 inch twist drill bit that I drill first. This is in the chuck. This gets drilled 7/8 just to get rid of some of this material, some of the big material out here. Makes it easier for you to go through with the Forstner bit. And also give you a little cone up on the inside. Once again, taking a little bit of weight out. That drill bit was not that much of that one was just as much of an issue. And I showed them, you can show these people time and time again, we're going to drill part way in there. I'm going to back up, leave the drill inside of there, release the tailstock, slide it forward till it makes contact, relock it, respin in, and make sure this time when you come out, come back a little ways, loosen it back up, loosen the tailstock up, grab the chuck, and pull it out that way. Well, the person that you think understands and knows that is the one I turn around to see that they turned there again, almost all of them, they release when they go the whole way back. And they were just at the point where I saw it release the chuck. And by that, they actually slid it back. I'm like, do you realize how close you were to having a serious problem? Because you would have left go of this. There was, without a doubt in mind, you would have left go of that. And it would have been sitting there spinning. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, you just released it. I went over and went like that. And they're going, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, you all want to do I get the comments, you do too much of our work. Well, there's a reason why I do certain things. I don't, and I tell them all at the beginning of the day, I said, this is a blood-free zone. I said, nobody's going home bleeding. I said, second of all, I said, you bleed, the class is over. I said, because I can't stand the sight of blood. I said, you'll be picking me up off the floor. I said, so it's just, it won't work.
Ruins of wood too.
Well, yeah, you could do that. But yeah, it's, you know, Matt was asking about when I was saying about razor blades. That's not somebody else told me that. I've done that several different times. And that's why I tell them people, I said, this is a paper cut on steroids. I said, you won't even know it cut you until you see drops of blood.
Or until it starts burning.
What age of people are you teaching?
Whatever's willing to pay
Adults.
for their nope.
Makes no difference.
It makes no difference.
No, I thought you were at a school teaching or something.
This is at Woodcraft. This is at a Woodcraft store.
Right. I'm sorry. No, that's right. I'm sorry, Kurt. I'm sorry. You're right.
And I've only had a couple kids. Trying to think how many. I've been at this a year and a half, maybe a little bit better.
Well, the kids listen the best.
Not always.
Well, yeah.
In my experience, the kids are better listeners and learn better.
The one that I had a couple months ago, it was just doing an ice cream scoop, I think it was, or a pizza cutter. One of them two. It was small spindle turning, and he caught on to it really pretty quickly. And you know, in that case, his mom was there with them, because that's kind of the rule, is if you're under 18, the parent must stay. You're not dropping them off here for a babysitting service. The parent will stay the whole time. I just give him a chair and said, you know, there's a chair. Park your butt in that chair. And I said, I don't want to see you walk. You're not taking this class. You're signing a waiver. I said, I don't want you over there, you know, messing with your kid or whatever. But yeah. Anywhere from, I think that kid there was 12 years old, maybe, something like that.
That's great.
Young lady I helped actually turn a pin at SWAT this year didn't listen for squat.
Oh, the women are no.
You almost got Safety Sue in there.
Let me put it to you this way. Some of the women are really, really easy to teach. You got to remember, most of these people, probably 90% of the people that are taking the class over there, they either want to do the project, they want to do the bowl class is the most popular class there is. It's almost always sold out. And I do 4 people at a time. That's more than enough. But the women, some of the women seem to be very aggressive. And the majority of the people are rather aggressive on it. There's no in between. You either have the person that touches the tool to it and it's like, oh, I can hardly take a little bite off here and I hardly move, which is okay. Then you got the other one that wants to take 3/8 of an inch cut at one time and push as hard as they possibly can. And I'm like, you just have to find a happy medium in there. But the women can be really, women can actually be very aggressive on the lathe.
I said, young lady, she was 10.
Yeah.
You haven't lived till you've done a senior citizen center, man. You come out of there.
I did that.
God, I was a wreck.
I've been married for 50 years. That's all I got to say.
I didn't do one at a senior center, but the guy that's in charge of the classes over at Woodcraft, he texted me. He said, "Hey, do you know anything about this phone number and these people?" I said, "Dude, I just teach classes here. I don't do anything else in that store besides come and teach classes. I am an employee because that's the way that's the way they want to do it and how they want to do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, what's the story?" He said, "Well, I got to find out." He said, "I'll call him." He said, I'll get back with you." Well, that's exactly what it was saying. It's a senior center. They technically, and these guys told me that whenever they came, there was 4 of them. I said, what's the story here? I said, "Yeah, fill me in." He said, "Well, we wanted you to come there." I said, did you bother to check with your director there? I said, you know, an outsider coming in here may not exactly suit it down. And they're like, oh, we never did that. Okay. But they were seniors from a senior setter. The first words out of their mouth, I was sitting down because that's an afternoon class. So I'd already taught a morning class and I was finishing my lunch. And they all walked in. 2 of them came in with walkers. The other 2 both had canes. And I'm like, I just looked at them. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be a fun afternoon. And I'm like,
Yep.
can you stand without the walker? Yeah. We just not super stable or whatever. The next question was, I need a chair. We're not turning sitting down. Well, no, but I got to take a lot of breaks. That was a 3-hour class that took 4.5 hours with them. But they had a blast. You know, they had fun, but yeah, it was a bit challenging.
Demanding.
You'll remember that one. Yep.
Oh yeah. I mean, they were all nice guys and everything else, but you know, they still said they wanted me to come to the senior center and do something with them or come and do a demonstration or whatever, but I guess they never followed through with it because they all went home with my information and never heard anything back from them.
You're lucky.
So if they did, if they did, would you do it?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. Right. Of course. That's cool.
Yeah.
Their money spends just as easy as someone else's, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I mean, I would like to, and maybe there's somebody on here that can even help me guide me in the right direction. I'd like to go do some demonstrations at like symposiums and things like that, but this time of the year, nobody's really doing any. And I really haven't found a good, solid answer on how you even go about contacting any of those people. So until we do, I'll just keep doing my once a month classes and be happy with it. So good enough.
Hi, Kurt. Randy Smith.
How you doing, Randy?
Yeah, some of the senior retirement homes actually have their own woodworking or wood turning shops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I've been there. I was down and visited Bob Gockenauer down at his place down in Lancaster.
Yep.
Yeah.
How is
they had really actually had a quite nice of a pretty much a full scale woodworking shop. Woodworking, wood turning. Didn't really see anything in metalworking in part of it, but yeah, they had a full workshop.
Yeah, I always liked Bob and his wife Miriam.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, they were always really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was dandy. I mean, he took us down and showed us, and you know, they had a couple full size lathes. And I think most of the lathes that they actually had was some of the senior people that came in there. Trying to think of the other guy's name. My dad always calls him Blinky. Used to be the club president.
That's not Ron.
Ron Sheehan.
Yeah.
He managed to talk them into letting him donate his lathe to them, which was the Powermatic, the 20-inch Powermatic. So they had one of them. They had a jet.
I think Bob did the same thing.
No, they wouldn't take his.
Oh.
His lathe
okay.
wasn't there. They had the Powermatic, the jet. They had an older jet, like the 16-inch jet or something like that. And I think there was even a mini lathe or something there. But it was clean. That was one of the rules that they had. They had to, when they went to leave the shop, even if it was only just for lunch, they had to clean up and sweep up their area before they left, or they would actually get in trouble.
Ooh.
So he said. Yeah. Yeah, they were. I mean, I walked in there. I'm like, wow, I wish my shop was that clean. I'm like, it was spotless. You know, but that's why they had to keep it clean.
Right.
Or they got
discipline. Otherwise, it would get
discipline. And their idea of discipline, they would actually. I think he said if you were really, really messy and didn't clean up things like you were supposed to, they could actually kick you out.
Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my shop's threatening to kick me out.
Well, if there's Matt, do we have a couple more gallery items for the evening, or
We
did
do.
get
We have
through
a
all the
few
gallery?
still. We have a few still on the list. So thank you
Okay,
very
let's
much, Kirk. That was great.
see what we can get through in the next 10 minutes here, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, Doug is stuck around, so Doug's next. What you got, Doug?
Okay. It is good to see everybody, and it's been a great night tonight. Thank you, Kurt. A couple weeks ago, I'm pretty sure I showed you a box that I did from a bedpost. There's what's left of the bedpost. I've got a couple of ideas for this that I'm going to do, but here's my latest from the bedpost. This definitely was a section of it. In fact, I think it went that way. I've reversed it. Still have the tenon on it because I want to put another good coat of wax on it, but just came up with a nice shape that was it was lent to by the shape that was already there. And this has carnauba wax on it too, just like Kurt was talking about with his tops. It gives you a pretty nice little shine there. I do want to put another coat on it just to give it a little more protection and bring up the shine just a little more. But that's not sapele, but mahogany.
I was going to say that's really pretty. Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you're saying you just cheated and hollowed it? Is that what?
It is hollowed.
No, that's not. I was talking about the outside.
Oh,
as you said, it was basically that same shape. So I was.
It was a very similar to this. I corrected it a bit, cleaned it up, just made it fit, made it a more of a bottle shape. It was similar to this. I think this is pretty close to the same size it was. I just, like I said, I rolled it over that way, made a nicer cove there, cleaned up this outer part here. So anyway, that's what I've gotten done this week. That's all the time I've had in the shop. So
I was just being a goober, Doug.
I know. You're fine. Anyway, that's what I've gotten done this week.
All right.
Right
Well,
on,
thank you
Doug.
very
Thank
much,
you.
Doug. Dane, I don't have anybody else, so I'm going to send it
All
to
right.
you.
Yeah, it's fine. Heather wanted to see what my cut wrench looked like for cutting tenons, sizing tenons, which camera, looks like the laptop you highlighted. So this is a 3/8, and I've got the top cut or ground down just to the front here, and it's square. And once you go in
And
on your tenon,
you just grind that just to till it connects, right?
just to connect that, from where the top is to make, to make that flat.
Okay.
And you take that, you just make that angle meet the nose of the tip there, and then giddy up, and you always have a 3/8 or whatever size.
That's a great
wrench
idea.
you decide to use, for your tenon, and it works great. And then to resharpen it, your diamond card, boom, 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 couple strokes on the top, because it's nothing more than a scraper, and it's ready to go again.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I bought an old ignition tool set at a flea market, and I did that on the ends of them. So I go down to 1/8 of an inch. I go 1/4 inch, 3/16 of an inch. I make my own dowels that way.
Yeah, sure can.
Yeah.
Sure can.
So when you're cutting, Dane, you're turning it upside down. You're putting that.
You've got the sharpened short end on the top.
Yeah,
You got the
there was
sharpened short end on top. Yeah.
Yes.
There was earlier tonight during that discussion, Dean Grimes posted a link to his video. It's a great video on how he makes that tool, and you can see he talks all about that. You're basically you're sharpening the short end.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain Eddie's got 2 of them as well. Yeah,
Yeah, I should do that too.
they're handy.
Very cool.
It makes it fast and easy.
Yeah, I use them all the time, but they end up being a little bit bigger than a drill bit. You know, just because you say it's a 1/2 inch, but it's to fit that go around a 1/2 inch piece. You know? So it is a little bit wider.
If I draw if I draw a 3/8 inch hole in the end of a say a dough board or cutting board, I want to plug it. I use a 3/8 inch wrench and it goes right in. It's perfect. I have no gap in it at all. Matter of fact, you got driving
a cheap wrench.
My hot craftsman. So I had to drive in with a hammer and I just get it with flush cut saw and it works out perfect.
Mine's Harbor Freight.
You guys saw me do that when I did the ornament demo a couple weeks ago. You guys saw me do the same thing, and then you saw me stick the tenons into the 1/4 inch drilled holes, and it was snug as I didn't even need to put any glue on it. It stuck in there like it was
nice. Nice
It-
good friction fit.
It does depend on the wrench you use, but most of the ones that I've had fit exactly right. But you can get some cheaper forged wrenches that
But those
are a little
left-handed-
big.
Those left-handed open-end wrenches, you'll find that problem with them quite regularly.
Left-handed wrench?
Yeah, left-handed wrench.
Just put it in your right hand, you'll be fine.
Yeah. You got to use a left-handed drill.
Come from China.
Or something.
Well, those left-handed wrenches only fit left-handed bolts.
I guess.
That's exactly right.
Exactly, Billy.
Right.
If the wrench is too big, set it on the vise and give it a smack.
There you go.
You can tune that up real quick. Also, if the hole's too big, too small, if you use numbered drills or letter drills, man, you can hit it right on the head. I do that all the time. You go up a few thousandths and the thing just fits.
Yeah, numbered and lettered bits are fantastic.
Patience.
You got it.
Patience.
I've got something to show if y'all want to see it.
We'd love to see it, John.
Sure. Why not, John?
All right. This is a piece of box elder, and it's a natural edge bowl. And the reason I'm showing it tonight is it had a split in it, and I stopped the split with a piece of wire, copper wire, and it's a nice looking piece.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's got oil on it. Another piece I've got here, and I don't know what the wood is, but it's prone to cracking, and you can see some cracks here.
Right.
Well, I put butterflies in the cracks, and here's the backside, and the cracks don't move anymore.
Very nice.
As soon as I generally turn everything wet, so it's going to crack or move or whatever. But these butterflies and this one here have stopped the cracks from proceeding. I mean, they're there, but they're not going to bother the bowl. And these are both natural edge bowls, and that's it.
They look wonderful.
Right on, John. How do you cut your butterflies? John, how do you do your butterflies? How do you cut them?
How do I do my butterflies? I buy them from
okay, you buy them pre-cut. Got it.
an outfit out in Hawaii, and I don't remember what the name of it is, but they have a plastic template, and you can use your router in that, and when you fasten it to you tape it on or glue it on or whatever you want to do, and then take your router and route out your hole and put that in.
Okay.
It works real nice.
Yeah, it does. Great job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice work,
All
John.
right.
Thank you.
Well, takes us to the top of the hour. So we'll call this the demarcation point of the main meeting and the beginning of the after hours. So for those of you that are still here, appreciate all y'all coming out and look
Good
forward
night.
to seeing y'all again next week. Got another fabulous show lined up. Really cool demonstrator on tap for next week. So with that, I'll see you guys later. And for the after hours folks, hello.
All right.
Good
I'm
night, all. We'll see you
Rita,
next
Bill.
week.
I'm out. Y'all have a good one.
You too,
All right,
Billy.
good night, Billy.